Yeah.
We are recording. All right, everybody, welcome to the stream. We have 4 viewers right now. Here with Greg Woods to my left, but you're right, and he's on the other side of the screen. Currently, we are going to do a full breakdown of the NBA offseason. That guy right on over there, is a San Antonio Spurs fan, and I am a Portland Trailblazer fan. So, that's going to be later down on the list, so you're going to feel the passion towards the end of the stream. But for now, we're going to start with the Atlanta Hawks. And Greg.
Yeah.
So, starting out the draft. Jalen Johnson, Sharif Cooper, 2048. I know nothing about these guys, nor do I care.
Okay.
Do you have anything?
I don't listen to them either.
All right, cool. I mean, this is going to be very simple. If we have something to say, we'll say it. If we don't, we're going to move on. I feel like the Atlanta Hawks is going to be a team that, if we look at their, here we go. This needs to get exited. So here's their current team right now. Let's see. Do they still have that big, tall, and ugly guy who can shoot the basketball? Is Danilo Gallinari healthy?
Gallo? I think so.
Oh. Okay, so down here at the bottom of my screen says injury report. Onyeka Okongwu, who's a young, small big, and then Danilo Gallinari, who is a veteran, and he's kind of just like a passer shooter, I guess. Would you say so, Greg?
Gallo is nice. Yeah, that dude, he's like at least like a 10-year veteran, I think.
Yeah, he started out in Denver, but we don't need to talk about all that. So they kept their core. Trey's still there. Clint is still, Clint. John Bogdan. Kevin.
John Collins.
Yep. All right, but going back to the actual list, they went on ahead, and here is their current roster. Good. And this is the previous roster. That's a quick little peep for you guys at home. Pause the video if you need to. They went out, and they traded for DeLon Wright. And for that trade, is that the Chris Dunn, Bruno Fernando trade?
I don't know. I don't even think DeLon Wright makes that much of a difference. He's not.
He's just a backup guard.
Yeah.
And is he better or worse than Rajon Rondo?
Definitely worse.
Well, there you have it, folks. The overall consensus is the Atlanta Hawks got better or worse, Greg? Or stayed the same?
I don't know. I mean, they stayed the same for the most part, which I think is fine because they made the main conference finals last year.
I agree.
So I'm totally cool with them running it back because, well, and then also Trey was hurt for that series too. So it's like, who knows how far they could have gotten if he was healthy. So, yeah, they have my full support in keeping it the same because I think they have an incredible team.
So if what would you say is the over-under bar? Would you say the second round? That's my bar for this team.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they made the conference finals in May, so I'm almost tempted to just say that because.
Do you think that they're going to make it to the conference finals again?
I could see it, dude. I don't think I just think that they're I don't think anybody realized how good. Obviously Trey is incredible, but I just think he's just such a floor raiser that
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and then also him and Trey's awesome, but I'm a big believer in John Collins too. I think that dude is actually. Do you remember he played at Wake Forest? I'm pretty sure, and K-State played them.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a tournament playing game years ago. So my first experience with John Collins was not pleasant, but now the dude is rocking out, so it's all good. Big believer in him for sure.
Cool. Anything else you want to say? I think I think that was a good little comment there for the Atlanta Hawks there, Greggorz.
Totally.
All right, so moving on. You have the not so useless, but also useless at the same time, Boston Celtics. So they stayed pretty consistent. They went out and got Dennis Schroeder for pennies on the dollar. Pennies, I tell you. Just kidding. I think he got a very fair contract for
Well,
the way he plays.
not considering what he could have gotten.
Yeah. But
That dude, yeah,
that's his fault. That's his own fault.
it is.
Okay. So they went out and get a foreigner, which is all I can really understand from whatever the heck that name is. And then Ennis Cantor bounces back after being with the Portland Trailblazers again for a year. So Ennis is gone. Portland Celtics. And then again, Dennis Schroeder. They go back and they get Al Horford, which that is a game changer in my eyes.
You think so? I think he kind of.
Okay. But do you remember him? It was just 2 years ago when he was on the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, but did you see him last year, with the Thunder? That dude is
but he got benched. I mean, it was 3 years. Damn, was it 2 or was it 3 years ago?
I think his last season was 18 with Boston.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because then he went to Philadelphia for a year, and that didn't work out. And then he went to Oklahoma City, which is where he was.
But he got traded to OKC.
Right, but I'm saying, so it was Boston, Philly, OKC.
Yeah.
And so I think it's been 3 years since he was last with Boston.
Yeah, okay.
Or at least, something like that.
Okay. Well, I love Al Horford coming back. I think he's going to be great for him.
Okay.
So last year, the Boston Celtics got bumped in the first round.
Who do they... Did they play the Nets? I'm trying to remember.
We're about to check it out. So, here we go.
Suns at Lakers rematch of the first round playoff matchup last season.
All right. So, Celtics. Did they lose? Nah, yeah, they lost to the Nets.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's right.
Yeah. So, Celtics go bye-bye in the first round. They get rid of Kemba Walker. Thank goodness. He was a waste of space. Tristan Thompson goes bye-bye. Carson Edwards, bye-bye. Evan Fournier, bye-bye. Semi Ojeleye, bye-bye. Taco Fall, bye-bye. Honestly, in my eyes, Josh Richardson, Al Horford, Bruno Fernando, Juancho Hernan-Gomez. It just sounded like they cleaned house and brought in new guys, or Enes Kanter, or Al Horford, and it's just like, let's see if these role players work.
To be quite honest with you, for me, none of these guys move the needle for me all that much. Maybe the biggest one out of that group might be Josh Richardson, or even Cantor to some extent, but I don't know.
Actually, Enes Kanter was a waste of space with Carmelo Anthony on the Portland Trailblazers. Let me tell the people at home.
Wait, what?
Yeah, hold on. Colin Beauregard just shot us out a comment. Colin, you are right. Losing Taco Fall was a tragedy. But guess what? Our boy, Dean Wade, is competing in the gym right now against that man in Cleveland. And you know what's going to happen? Dean Wade's going to be an all-star in 2025. I'm calling it now. Okay, but, yeah. Like you said, Greg, it's not moving the needle.
No.
All of these guys are it's just plug and hope it gets better. But if this team is going to make it to the conference finals this year, what's going to happen?
The apocalypse, something terrible happening. I don't know. I just feel if they get if they get like remotely far at the playoffs, like something has gone terribly wrong for the other team because I'm not very much sold on this collection of players.
Those
And I
players.
know that's not going to go over. That's not going to go over very well with my guy Colin, who I don't know if he's still in there.
He's in chat. He's in chat.
Yeah,
But he also just subscribed to my channel.
Hey,
making him the 56th follower. We are on the road to 69. Thank you, Sibo. Yeah, the only way that this team makes the conference finals is if Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum go ludicrous every round.
which Jaylen has been pretty good this year. I know they're only like 2 or 3 games in, but
Yeah,
he's
but
looked good
they gotta go from stars, which I feel like Jason Tatum has kind of taken the step, but that's just clout, to superstars. Superstars.
I remember being like, wait, what?
We need more, Greg.
Yeah, they I mean beyond like Tatum and Jaylen Brown and who else do they have? I don't even know who they have. And maybe that's just me not being very well read, but I don't know. I'm very, very lukewarm. I'll say that.
About the team as a whole.
Yeah.
Fair. All right, moving on. Brooklyn Nets. Well, all these moves don't matter. You want to know why, Greg?
Why's that?
I think you can tell me.
Because they don't have Kyrie.
There you go. None of these moves matter. None of them. They go out and they get Javon Carter, and they get rid of Landry Shamet, and I think they something about Spencer Dinwiddie, which a couple of years ago they could have gotten way more for him, but they just had to wait till they got 3 super duper stars.
He went to the Wizards.
Yeah, and he's just injury prone over on the Wizards now. And Jeff Green goes bye-bye. He goes to the Denver Nuggets to go and replace, who's there? Paul Millsap.
Millsap, yeah.
So he's probably just a cheap replacement for Millsap. And, so Kyrie needs to get a needle in his arm, or else this team is going to be still pretty good because they have Kevin Durant, and they have James Harden. You know what? I'm not 100% certain about a decision because Kevin Durant and James Harden are scary.
Yeah, even when Kyrie went down in the playoffs last year and it was up to like KD and half a James Harden, they were still like, they still had something in them. I mean, KD had to kind of do it all because Harden was on like one leg, but I don't know. The hardest thing in the world for me to do is say nice things about James Harden because I think very lowly of him. But I also realize he is one of the best players in the world. It's also weird because the Nets have acquired one of the Spurs' longest tenured players in Patty Mills, which is really, really strange because
do you have anything to say about Patty Mills' recent history within the past year?
Within the past year, I mean, he was just like until he got until he signed with Brooklyn, he was the only like connection with the Spurs to their like title days. So seeing him go bye and now like we have a whole new like nobody on the roster now has any connection whatsoever to when they were winning.
Yeah.
So that is it's just a weird what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, just like a new era, I guess, and it's finally here now that Patty's with Brooklyn. So, yeah, strange days. But I do think though that is a really solid pickup for them. I think Patty is he's kind of lost a step as he's gotten older, but the dude can knock down shots, and also very experienced, obviously. So yeah, I like that.
They also went out and got Bruce Brown, which I don't think is included.
But no, he's been there for a little bit.
He was a mid-season pickup for them last year, wasn't he?
Oh, was he? I don't even remember.
Yeah. So So basically, they swap Paul Millsap and Jeff Green. LaMarcus Aldridge is healthy again, so he's going to last about 5 games until his heart explodes or whatever the heck is going on there. Blake Griffin's still a part of the squad. They're just missing Kyrie. Bembry. I look at it and it's the Brooklyn Nets. Top heavy. Yeah. A couple other names in there that are contributors, and then it's just going to fall off a cliff and die.
I do think, though, that one of the best, I don't want to say steal because he's really good, but Cam Thomas for them is going to be nice, dude. Incredible scorer. He has the build to kind of. He can, he's not like a twig or anything. Mm-hmm. So the dude's scoring a lot of different ways. Yeah, big Cam Thomas believer. I'm excited to see what he can do for them because I think, especially if Kyrie does not get the vax, that'll be important too. So
is that who's going to be starting with them or?
I don't think he'll. No, I don't think he'll. Well, I don't know. I don't think he'll start, but I'm just saying that he can be a scoring kind of punch if they need it because the dude can really pour it in. So
okay.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. And then before we move on, Patty Mills during the Olympics, Kevin Durant, chat. Patty Mills comes to Brooklyn Nets.
Oh yeah.
And there you have that. Okay. Charlotte Hornets. They lose. Malik Monk, Cody Zeller.
Devontae Graham, KU legend.
Yeah, and then they also lost Devontae Graham. But, those are all 3 contributors on the roster.
Devontae was good to them. Not even trying to just play him up because he went to KU. The dude was really good.
Yeah, he was balling.
Yeah.
So he goes and decides that, hey, maybe I should go and get traded with Zion, the Pizza the Hut. And so what? Yeah. Mason Plumlee comes in, solid. Kelly Oubre, solid. Ish Smith, solid.
Kelly Oubre. Mike, I'll tell you one thing right now about the Charlotte Hornets.
They're not going to be good?
No, they're going to be fine, but them being fine is Kelly Oubre is not going to help them become better as a team. I watched a lot of Kelly Oubre last season because I watched a lot of Warriors games.
Yeah.
And the dude has the basketball IQ of a banana peel. The dude, he's athletic, whatever, he can guard, but the dude just has no idea where he is on the court.
Has he ever been on Shaqtin' the Fool? Was he the corner guy on the Washington Wizards who got absolutely lost?
What do you mean?
There was a Washington Wizard Shaqtin' the Fool. It was either him or Otto Porter.
Oh, well, yeah. Oubre, I hope for the best for him, but based on what I saw with him at the Warriors last season, dude, he needs the problem. He's a good player, but he just tried to do too much last season. He was always trying to make plays off the bounce, trying to get to the rim. But really, he's at his best when he's just catching, shooting, or catching and attacking the rim and dunking or something. But when he tries to make all these decisions and plays,
so basically, if there's 10 seconds or 8 seconds left on the shot clock, actually 6 seconds left on the shot clock, you pass to him, and there's a chance the ball might go in.
Maybe he missed I remember he missed his first 20-some threes last season. We kind of got back on track, but yeah, I think it'll be fine. But I'm just saying, based on what I've seen recently, I'm a little he's questionable for sure.
All right, Charlotte Hornets win 44 games over under. 40. Also, before you answer that, Greg, shout out to Chef Gumball. You're a real one. Thank you for the follow. We are on the road to 69. I love you. All right, Greg, back to you.
Oh, hey, we missed a comment from Colin. Marcus Smart, criminally underrated.
Oh, yeah, Marcus Smart. Dude, he is nuts.
Marcus is nice. Yeah, somehow he has maintained like his defensive kind of prowess over the years.
He's just gonna be he's gonna be a better version of that Memphis Grizzly player.
Avery Bradley?
No.
Or Tony Allen. Tony
Allen, dog.
Yeah. I
He's,
don't know why.
He's a modern day Tony Allen.
Yeah. I think he's a little better offensively, but
definitely. That's why I say modern day there, Greggorz.
Yeah. Hey, RIP though to our boy Wes Iwundu getting cut from Charlotte.
No, but you know who's not cut?
Who's that?
That's Xavier Sneed. Except he's on the G League team.
Yeah. Wait. What's the deal with Sneed? Is he just like on the team, or is he playing?
I think he's on the G League squad.
Okay. Well, because like when they announced the deal, it was like, oh, we just signed Xavier Sneed. So I was like, they just like signed him like straight up, or what's going on with that? But okay.
I don't know, but he's playing with LiAngelo Ball on the G League squad.
Yeah, so like Joe is back with the G League team now?
Yeah, so when they released him, that was a planned thing, and it was basically they released him so they could sign him to a two-way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was way less controversial than like anybody on Twitter said. But the real question that I have post All-Star break, who's going to be better? Bouknight or Malik Monk?
Bouknight for sure. Malik Monk is some garbo.
That's what I'm talking about, Greg.
Malik Monk somehow he boosted his like reputation because he's with the Lakers now. But
yeah,
dude, with Charlotte, that dude was a pile of just oh my god.
He was not good.
Terrible. No, didn't he he was suspended for like drug use or something like that, right?
What, was he just smoking weed or was he doing cocaine?
Oh, I think he was doing like crack or something. Yeah.
No way. All right.
I promise you.
So, Charlotte right now is 2-0. They've beaten who the fuck cares. And they still got Gordon Hayward, who is not hurt. Terry Rozier is hurt. Miles Bridges, let's take a look at him.
Miles is nice.
He's supposed to be... He is taking a step up this year. That's exciting to see. So, last year, we're looking at 2021 here, all the way over here at points. He threw up 12. This year, so far, being 2-0, shooting 38% from 3. Almost good. 50% field goal percentage. And averaging a stunning 21.5 points per game. And what was the final consensus on 44 wins or above for the Charlotte Hornets?
I'm gonna say under.
I agree.
Only because I don't know, I think a lot of times oh my god, they added this player, that player, and it's just I don't know, people can be talented, but you really gotta make it work on the court together.
Yep. Also, the East is stronger this year, and the West is stronger this year. I don't get how it happens, but it happens.
No, this is gonna be a good year for the NBA for sure, because there's not a whole lot of just teams that are just totally tanking. So
I agree.
I'm excited.
So let's go on ahead and move on. Chicago Bulls. This is one of the most exciting teams to talk about this offseason. Greg, lead us off.
The Bulls, man. I think one of for a while, Caruso was viewed as a joke or kind of a meme type player, but the dude is a seriously good contributor.
Serious.
The dude, he can play. He's a great defender. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes on both sides of the ball. Big fan of his. Mm-hmm. What else we got? Obviously, dude, thank the heavens that the Bulls took DeMar DeRozan off the Spurs' hands.
Really? You weren't fond of him at all?
No, I mean, yeah, he's I just feel like his game is just antiquated and set. He sets the game back 50 years when he gets onto the court. But but he's also a really good player. He just relies so heavily on the mid range. But anyway, he's good. I like them, and it makes them more exciting.
All right.
Lonzo Ball.
But really quick, before we move on, I appreciate it, but I need to dive deeper into DeMar DeRozan. So
Okay.
how many years was he there? 2?
So his first year there was 2018 and 19. So 3, I'm pretty
3.
sure.
He was there. Oh, that's right. He was there for 3 years for Kawhi
Yeah,
Leonard. His
yeah,
first year. You watch a lot of Spurs basketball, Greg.
yeah.
DeMar DeRozan, the biggest thing that I heard was basically his playmaking became great.
Yeah, yeah. No, that was probably like the biggest improvement in his game was that like he went from just being kind of like an ISO scorer to, I mean, like you said, like a playmaker off the bounce, much more willing passer. Found his guys. So that was nice. The problem was that like he was just never a threat from beyond the arc, which just shrinks the court in big ways, especially when the ball is in his hands
All
as
right.
much as it is. So.
So, one more question before we move on from DeMar DeRozan. I'll let you talk about Lonzo Ball a little bit.
Okay.
DeMar DeRozan or Ben Simmons. You have 1 year to
Straight
build a
up.
championship. You have 1 year this year. Actually, you have last year to build a championship team. And you have an option. You don't know who the rest of the team is, but let's say there's 13 other people and they choose, players or whatever, and you're one of the 13. And your 2 options are DeMar DeRozan and Ben Simmons. Who do you choose?
Ben Simmons for sure.
Why?
For sure. He's an incredible playmaker. I mean, I don't know, like people have really hot takes and like enthusiastic opinions on Ben, but I mean, for all his shortcomings on offense, the dude is like one of the best on-ball defenders in the league.
Yep.
Obviously, an incredible playmaker in transition. Um, so, and I don't know, like obviously, like him and DeMar are kind of limited in similar ways to where when they both of them refuse to take threes.
Yeah.
For different reasons. But I don't know, dude. I just think Ben is, for all we talk about is like, his shortcomings on offense. I think the dude still has a lot to offer. So I think I would take him. But it's close. I don't want to sound like I'm just a runaway. I think it's close.
Okay.
But,
All right. I'll respect the opinion. Moving on, and this is also not the last time we're going to be talking about Ben Simmons here. And we're going to be talking about him on the 76ers and other teams too, because he is that important in the NBA today, right now. So, moving on, you have Lonzo Ball, who is the co-sign along with Alex and DeMar.
yeah, Lonzo. I've always been a big fan of Lonzo. I even remember like he was drafted like right before we started living together years ago for sure.
Yeah. He's
So
our class. He's our high school
yeah.
class.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. But yeah, big Lonzo fan, man. I just think
agree.
if any, like obviously we know about Lonzo as like a playmaker and he's long, he can defend. But I also feel like just like his willingness to improve, like his jump shot has been so obviously like, super important. But it also demonstrates that you really can make improvements in your game over the years,
Yeah.
which Ben Simmons obviously has not shown. So. But I just feel like Lonzo is like a example of just the fact that you really can, improve your game and change your game in big ways, if you really are like committed to it.
And by the way, folks, Lonzo's still only 23.
Yeah, he's younger than us, dude. That's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, but you're September birthday.
Yeah, 18th. Yours is like what, like 3 days before mine.
Yeah, I'm on the 15th. So yeah,
Yeah.
Lonzo's just which is, what I plan on doing with all of my athletic children is having them step up a grade.
I think it's a good way to do it.
Okay, but now I will move on and talk about Derrick Jones Jr. Derrick Jones Jr. was on the Portland Trailblazers last year. Like I said, my squad. And he, under Terry Stotts, was a net negative. I really like Derrick Jones Jr. and he's an exciting player. He's a good defender. When he was on the Miami Heat, he was one of the best number defenders in the league because of his explosiveness, because of his length. He's quick. He's not fast, but he's quick. And just Terry Stotts. He was given weapons last year, but in classic Terry Stotts fashion, he just played older guys or guys who he thought he could trust more. And even though Derek Jones Jr. was a big just piece that you could throw all over the floor, throw him at 4, throw him at the 4, throw him at the 3, it never happened. And so we went on ahead and we got lucky in my eyes, and we traded for Larry Nance Jr. for Derek Jones. And it's not showing players lost, but yeah, we traded for Larry Nance Jr. And gave away Derek Jones, and now Derek Jones is on the Chicago Bulls. And also a second round pick, but that's basically nothing. And it'll be interesting to see what the Chicago Bulls do with Derek Jones Jr. this year. Let's do a quick little 2 games into the season peak. And nobody cares about you.
Games 13 made threes. The Warriors only 8.
What's going on here? Is that you, Greg?
Yeah, I was trying to pull up the Warriors game while we're doing
okay.
that.
Go for it.
All right, we're good. We're good.
So, DJ, what's going on for you this year, guy? I just want to look. Derek Jones Jr. Here we go. So, with Chicago, he hasn't even played. So, who knows? I mean, there's a lot of guys who probably should be playing above him, but we'll see. Maybe that was an absolute steal. Yeah. But yeah, so the Bulls. Who the fuck did the Bulls give up in that trade? They ended up giving Lowry That's who it was. So they gave up Lowry Markkanen, who I mean, Greg, do you have any comments on Lowry?
I think he's kind of, and I will admit I have not watched a ton of Markkanen, but it seems like the consensus on him is that he's kind of like hit his ceiling as a player. Like he kind of just is who he is at this point. So I just don't, because like when he came into the league, he was supposed to be this like really just one of the best players in the league, or best like young players in the league, but now I think he's kind of like plateaued and kind of like he's kind of is who he is, like I said. So yeah.
I wish I could disagree. We'll leave it at that. Are you ready to move on?
Let's do it.
All right. So now the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I mean, you could really. It's really, you just kind of got to flip a coin and decide which move was bigger for them this offseason. Extending Jared Allen or going out and drafting Evan Mobley at number 3.
I mean, it's hard to say because obviously is like a game or 2 into his NBA career, but from watching him at USC, like the dude is just like he's like 7'1" or something like that, and has like an insanely long wingspan, can shoot it. He's obviously can use his height, to his advantage. So yeah, I'm high on Mobley. I mean, it's hard to say, like I said, because he has not played a bunch, with the Cavs, but
I'm over the top for Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit sad he went to Cleveland because there's just so many freaking bigs. And, I mean, they have 2 guards who are solid. So basically, now they have Chetty Osman running the 3, who people were like, oh, this kid could be good. And then to nobody's surprise at the same time, he never got better. So, also, Lowry Markkanen played the 3 for the Chicago Bulls some last season, in the season before. So maybe we'll see some surgence in Cleveland of like big ball, which like who knows? I don't know because it's Cleveland without LeBron. So I will be watching 2 Cleveland Cavaliers games this year, and those games will be against the Portland Trailblazers.
From a year ago in the early part of the season.
That's all right.
And then go all the way to the
just trying to mute it. Okay, we're good. Sorry about that.
Hey, no worries. So, yeah, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. I got money on Mobley, and then they go out. They trade away Taurean Prince, I think, for Ricky Rubio, and then Larry Nance was in the Lowry Markkanen trade. So overall, at least trade wise, I give him a thumb. Because
a thumb?
Because a thumb up.
Because, thumb up.
Yeah. Because Larry Nance is older, and all they're doing is bringing in Lowry Markkanen to see if he's going to get any better. And then they bring in Ricky Rubio essentially to help Darius Garland and Colin Sexton develop.
Right.
And then Taurean Prince was just like a waste.
Yeah, Prince, shout out to Baylor, former Baylor legend.
Yeah.
I remember him beating up on the Big 12 a while. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I almost messed something up. But yeah, I don't know. He's kind of who he is at this point in the NBA. So I don't think they lost a whole lot. Larry Nance, yeah, I mean, I think he'll be fine. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Cavs, they got to stink for a little bit longer before they're any good.
Yeah. So let's just go down the roster really quick. First, let's just flip it upside down and take a look at Taco Fall. Just kidding. Taco Fall's Taco Fall. He's never going to be anything but a meme in the NBA. But go back up to they, in my eyes, I'm looking at this team, and if this team is together like 4 years from now, which is definitely not the case because you gotta do contracts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like this is, I mean, like also trade Kevin or just get Kevin Love off the roster, but this team, let's say the over under is, I mean, like first round.
Of the playoffs?
Yeah.
You think they're making the playoffs?
Or the second round of the play-in.
Oh, dude, I don't know. I don't think they're making the. I mean, they might make the play-in, but I that would be the end, like the extent of it for me.
And the thing is, and the only reason I'm talking like this crazy, Greg, I'm talking crazy right now.
Yeah,
is
it is
because this team is not bad.
Mike, I think they're going to be bad. Is the thing.
Colin Sexton, Darius Garland.
Yeah.
Like, they're not in the bottom 15 in backcourts in the NBA.
No, but
they might even be top 10. If you don't know what you're talking about, maybe.
I also feel like they don't guard anybody, which is important.
That is, you know what, Greg? That is correct.
You're like, well, yeah.
But they have Jared Allen behind him. And
Jared Allen, I used to be really big on Jared Allen, but now I'm kind of
like so. You know who Jared Allen reminds me of?
Who?
Clint Capella.
Yeah. No, they're definitely similar for sure.
And who else is along that mold besides Dwight Howard modern day?
Just kind of like rim running bigs.
Yeah, just like like good rebounding rim running bigs. Andre Drummond when he weighed a little bit less.
I don't think Drummond has ever been similar to Capella. I think Drummond has always been a freaking just like a freaking
tank.
He's just too big. I feel like he's just not that kind of. He doesn't have that kind of like agility or speed to him, you know.
Okay. All right. Well. This team, at least the top 9, every single player in the top 9 can contribute.
Mm.
And we'll see. This is just like a test year for the Cavaliers. The overall under for wins, I would say, is 25 28 wins.
Wait, but you just said they were going to make the playoffs, but now you're like, 28 wins.
No, I said they could make the play-in. It's the East. Anything can
They're
happen.
not making the play-in.
I'm taking the over. You know what, Greg? I'm taking the over.
You better, because they're not making the play-in.
I'm taking the over. What are you taking on 28
I'm not taking the
You're taking the under.
Yo, for sure. Maybe like, I think they kept out at like 35 wins or so. I don't know.
35? All right.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Reasonable. I got a little special piece in my heart for them and Dean Wade, which, I mean, you do too, but at least you have a little bit of logic in your brain somewhere.
Yeah, dude. I got my K-State on right here, but
yes,
as much as I love Dean, I just feel like his team is not going to be great this year. But that's okay, because they have the talent.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
Moving on. You got the Dallas Mavericks. They added nobody except Moses Brown, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did nothing. And then they went out and got Reggie Bullock.
Which, yeah.
And so Moses Brown was also, while I got the mic, yo, Blaze, how's it going, man? The guy over here, that's Greg Woods. All right, now you know. Okay, so Moses Brown was a Trailblazer. And, he never saw the floor. And then, but when he did, people were like, oh, this kid's all right. Or at least that's what I kind of thought.
Wait, I thought Moses Brown was with the Thunder.
The year after he left the Trailblazers, he went to the Thunder.
Right,
and that was his, and I put this in parentheses, breakout year. Because he had a couple good games. He had one good game against the Celtics. And that was like kind of it. And so Josh Richardson goes bye-bye. I just like the Dallas Mavericks are going to be the Dallas Mavericks again this year.
Yeah.
And
they just have to have. I just feel like Luka has to have capable shooters around him because that offense is so centered around him. Yeah. Like no offense in the league is.
So Greg, would you say that the Dallas Mavericks are playing it safe or playing it smart?
They're definitely playing it safe because, you saw how they went out of the playoffs. So I just feel like if I choose between those two, we'd be safe because, like you said, they really didn't do a whole lot over the offseason. And you saw how they did in the playoffs. So,
just a little recap of that. We have the Mavericks losing in the first round to the Clippers.
That was tough for me, dude. I really do not like the Clippers.
Yeah, weren't they up?
Wait, what?
They were up in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they were up like 2-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
Also, I also just loved that Luka literally played Pat Beverly off the floor. He's just benched the whole freaking series. He couldn't guard Luka.
So, Luka's on the team. Staps is on the team. Brunson's still there. Maxi's still there. I see this team winning games, but once again, I don't see them making noise in the playoffs. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'm with you. I never want to count a Luka team out of things, but without really the shooting he needs around him and the playmaking too, because if he's off, because obviously he's their main playmaker. He's in foul trouble or he's on the bench for some reason. They need someone that they can look to score. Which outside of Tim Hardaway, I just don't know who that's gonna be. So we'll see. But they didn't do much, so I'm not really over the moon about them.
All right, so over under, let's just say regular season 50 wins. What do you got?
Under for sure.
Under? All right. What if we go 45?
45? Maybe a little over, but not much. I'm thinking between 45 and 50 wins for that.
All right, that's fair. That's kind of the pocket that I was thinking too.
Yeah.
So moving on, the Nuggets. They go out. I mean, they don't go out, but they re-sign Will Barton, JaMychal Green, and then they also get Jeff Green, who we were talking about earlier. And in my eyes, their draft pick means nothing to me. And they lost JaVale McGee to Phoenix, which also means nothing to me.
Right. Yeah, I think
They just need to get Murray healthy. Jamal Murray healthy.
Yeah, when is he coming back? Do you know when he's gonna be good?
He's coming back in like playoffs.
Yeah, because he got hurt like February or like March-ish of this year.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. So yeah, not for a while. That sucks. But yeah, I think I don't know. I was really impressed that they obviously their main guy is going to be Jokic, and so even though they got swept by the freaking Suns, it was really impressive to see that he was able to kind of make things happen still. And a guy that I used to really not like a whole lot, but now I like a lot more, Austin Rivers. I think he is a really good playmaker off the bounce, can guard a little bit too. He's been around the league for a while, so I mean he might be slowing a bit, but sneaky good reacquisition for them, I think, in my opinion.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Austin Rivers is definitely a talent, especially after what he did last year in the playoffs or whatever what happened last? Yeah, playoffs, right?
Yeah. Do you remember? There was like some playoff game where it was like one of the Blazers and Nuggets playoff games. Toward the end of the game, and Dame is just freaking losing his mind.
Yeah, like always.
Right, and I remember he had made a bazillion threes in a row, and then he finally missed one. And there's a clip of Austin Rivers just like, thank God or something. Like he finally. So I thought that was
dude, that must have been that was like during. I mean, like in my eyes, the Trailblazers, dude, our modern day like rivals are the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, I can see that. Because they had a couple years ago, they played in the playoffs, and then last year too, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that series? Was a couple years ago. There was like some like double or triple overtime game in Portland, and I forget what happened, but I just remember like at that point people were thinking of Jokic as like this is like fat lard who just like was not conditioned very well.
So are you talking about the playoff game?
Yeah.
So that was Game 7, dude.
Oh, is it Game 7? Okay,
that was Game 7 that Portland went on to win.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a quadruple overtime game.
Quadruple, yeah. And Jokic played like 60 minutes or something like totally insane.
It was absurd. And of course people at the end were calling him out of shape because he played 60 minutes in an NBA basketball game.
Right. Right.
But we went on, and I think that was when we went to play the conference finals, and we played against the Warriors, and I mean, like...
Got swept. Well, the Warriors... The Blazers they led by double digits, like...
Every single halftime, we were up by 10 points, 20 points.
All four of those games, they had at least a 10-point lead.
Bro, except okay, so... Now, in 2021, like, the Warriors are a third quarter historically great team. Like, that is like, the Warriors quarter is the third quarter.
Yeah.
And back then, I still knew what the fuck was going to happen. Because, I mean, they've been doing that the third quarter has always been the Warriors quarter. Even before 2018, oh my god. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say like it has been when they were at their best because the last couple of years have not gone their way at all.
They'll still third quarter some teams every now and then.
Yeah, totally.
But I think that's enough on Denver Nuggets. Let's keep it rolling.
Okay.
Detroit Pistons. This team is elite.
Finals, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, they're going. I mean, like, what, bro? They have Cade Cunningham and Luka Garza. But
Garza should not be anywhere near an NBA roster.
What are you talking about? Did you not see what he did in the summer league?
I mean, I guess he was okay in the summer league.
Dude,
but...
they literally traded Domboya Saku because they needed to clear out the. They didn't want to. They needed to clear out those minutes for Luka Garza.
Yeah, I don't know.
Greg, you need to take a look at at some. You know what? You don't need to, but like around All-Star break, we might do something like this again, and then we'll have a little Luka Garza check-in.
Okay. See if I was totally wrong about him or not.
and we'll talk a little Luka Garza ball.
Okay.
Who, when I talked to one of my, pretty much my only NBA connection, but he knows who he is. One of my NBA connections, I guess. Wow, that's kind of crazy.
Mike is just sourced up with the NBA.
It's not like crazy, but like I got a couple guys who I can talk to who are like NBA dudes.
Okay.
But like he was on. He's one of the Florida teams. He works in a manager. Not like he's not like the team manager or anything, but he's just like in the offices there, and he basically said that he wasn't going to touch Luka Garza with a 10-foot pole. While I was high as fuck on Luka Garza.
You were high even before Summer League?
Yeah, dude, I love Luka Garza's game. It is a little bit shitty.
It's like
but he's
his
smart.
game. His game is like he wants the NBA in like the early 2000s.
Bro, he's crafty. He's crafty. That's all I gotta say.
He's too thick. He's freaking rigid. My guy, like,
We're
I don't know.
We're gonna see. But so Cade Cunningham's Cade Cunningham, number 1 overall pick. He is a small forward point guard. He's a big, tall, like 6'9" guy who has great guard skills. But I'm just saying this stuff out of niceness. I'm sure everybody at home knows about Oklahoma State's Cade Cunningham. They go out and sign Kelly Olynyk to kind of be just a guy who's a veteran who they decided to pay, pretty much. Would you say he just like Kelly Olynyk was asking for a good paycheck, and Detroit Pistons said yes.
Dude, they've been handing them out too. Jeremy Grant signed for a huge deal there before last year.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but is Jeremy Grant going to get traded this season, or is that going to be kind of like a Detroit Piston?
He's on a pretty big contract, so I don't know if they can find someone, maybe, but he's making a lot of money.
So Pascal Siakam, who was Jeremy Grant, Ben Simmons, were all 3 guys during the offseason, and Christian Wood, were all guys who we would be talking about, us Portland Trailblazers fans, about trading for CJ McCollum. And so far this season, I'm happy we haven't done that.
Hey, Jeremy Grant's good, though. I like him a lot.
Yeah. I love Jeremy Grant, but I don't know if that's the guy who's going to help bring Portland over the hump. But, I mean, Detroit Pistons are basically the worst team in the NBA. Like,
right.
Like, in a vacuum, like, we just have no idea what they're going to actually do this year. Saban Lee is a guard, and that's all we really have to say about him. He's like 20 to 22 years old. Yeah. Let's move down. Let's just move down.
Let's do it.
So now, Greg, I will let you go ahead and start.
Okay, the Warriors. People aren't gonna like this, but I watched a lot of Warriors basketball, and I like this a lot. They're not like my team, but I am taking quite a liking to them. and their guys. So over the
They
offseason,
just play basketball right. That's all I
yeah,
gotta say.
and they have some of the best. But so over the offseason, they added, like you're seeing on the screen, Otto Porter Jr., Bielitsa, and the return of Andre Iguodala. I guess shows it too, but whatever. And then also Kuminga and Moody in the draft. I'm not crazy about Kuminga pick just because I would have rather had them take Book Knight. But they took Kuminga and he's actually injured right now. But Moody's been playing some kind of spot minutes. But I want to talk about Bielitsa, dog, because Bielitsa I think is a huge difference maker for the Warriors this season. He
So
is like
if you could compare Bielitsa to any other player in the NBA who's a little bit better or well known than him, who would you say?
maybe like I'm gonna get I forget which is which, but Bogdanovich, who plays for
The Jazz?
the Jazz. Yeah, I think they're both kind of like sturdy. I think Bielitsa is more of a playmaker, but I think they're both kind of like sturdy guys who can play. I mean, the three or the four. Um, but man, Bielitsa like has shown a really that's like he's very like pass first. He's always looking for his guys. And when you play on the Warriors, you really have to just know where Steph is at all times. Like so much of the way they play is centered around Steph, and so that was part of like I was going in on Oubre earlier, and the dude, like I said, he just totally clogged the lane. He never knew where Steph was. Would never really like look for him. But that's what kind of gives me kind of hope for the team this season is that like obviously like Iggy has played with the Warriors. He knows the system, doing all that. Bielitsa is kind of already looking that way too. Otto Porter Jr. I was optimistic, but so far he's been a great shooter. Um, hasn't played a whole lot. I think he might be like on like a minutes restriction or something like that. I don't really know what's going on with that, but good shooter. I like that addition a lot if he can just stay healthy. Thing. So I don't know. I'm a little biased because I like these guys a lot, but I think it was a great offseason. And then obviously once Clay gets back in the mix, they're going to be a real contender for sure.
So here's my take to wrap it back around to Bielitsa. He's kind of like Danilo Gallinari.
Yeah. Oh, that's a better comparison for sure.
Yeah. So that's kind of like what he is. He's not super quick or anything. He's just kind of he moves around on the floor on the offensive end, and I mean he's smart.
Yeah.
He's a smart foreign player, and he's bounced around. I remember he started on the Timberwolves, and who knows where he's been since. But the Warriors should I mean, Greg, you should definitely be happy that he's on the squad. And then I mean, there's only really one other thing to talk about this team is would you Maddie just texted me. She said it was fun to listen to. Also, adding you was a good idea. So so what was that? Oh, so there's basically two, like, two blanks of thought. What's the word, Greg?
Two like schools of thought.
There's two schools of thought for the Golden State Warriors. You either trade Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and James Wiseman, or you keep all of them.
Well,
what are you a subscriber to? Because I know what I know what I'm a massive fan of for this team.
yeah. Well, Wiseman got hurt last season. The timing was unfortunately getting a lot better right before he got hurt. But Wiseman freaking stunk last season. And it's not entirely fair to just put that on him because he didn't have any kind of like camp, and he also played like all of like 3 college games, I think.
Yep.
And Memphis. So dude like came in like extremely raw. But I just think like I could go on and on, but the dude needs to just like simplify his role. But that's not what you asked. You asked about him and Moody and Kuminga.
Before you move on, you said simplify his role.
Yeah.
Now, why? I get why you would say that, but you know who's already simplified his role on that team?
Who?
Kevon Looney, man.
Looney has always been steady. The dude, he's actually only like 25 or 26, but the dude that plays like he's like 35. Uh, that dude is like slow as hell, but
Yeah.
he's effective. But with Wiseman, my point was that like last season before he got hurt, they were trying to like post him up and like have him make moves, in the
I've watched
post.
some highlights of that. Yeah.
And he scored a couple times, but like more often like the dude like he was very prone to like drop passes like in the lane. Um, didn't really know. He didn't really have any like really move, and he was also like he's tall, but he was able like you could move him around like on the block a lot. So
Yeah.
but my point is that like when he would like run like a Steph or or anybody else really, and he could just like dive to the rim and dunk it or lay it up or something like quick and easy, then he was great.
Yeah.
But the problem was it was a little like Mayween at K State. Like in my opinion, he was like at his best, but he would just catch it and dunk it or catch it and pat, just like something quick and just simple. But with Wiseman, like Mayween, when he's asked to like make a decision or make some kind of play, that's when things kind of go south.
But
So
unlike Mayween, Wiseman does his highlights are dope.
yeah, Mayween's highlights are just like really normal dunks and stuff.
Yeah.
But Wiseman, for all the crap I've given him, he has shown really really impressive flashes, and just in terms of being able to get to the rim and like just two like long strides, and he can hit threes every now and then. He has a little bit. So I think he has talent for sure, but until he learns to kind of like rein his game in and kind of learn his role and simplify things, I think I'm a little bit kind of bullish on him.
All right. I mean, fair enough. My school of thought with this. Oh, but actually, no, Greg, you haven't. You need to finish the trade school of thought. Go.
Oh yeah, man, I don't know. They're just trying to win right now because Steph and Clay and Draymond are all in their 30s now. So if I had to choose one thing, I would say trade them, just because they're in the very win now kind of phase with their three main guys all getting older. So that's where I would go. But what do you think, Mike?
I say keep them.
Keep them.
Keep
Okay.
them all. And here's why. You've already won 3 NBA championships, and you're still with these guys up for another one. And let's say that you are somehow able to keep all of these young players and move on with Steph, Clay, Dre. I mean, the squad. Then you can extend basically the level of excellence in this team for another decade or two, because what you're not only coming in and basically like you've already established culture, you have so many things that are just like that, like some teams are just like nailing and clawing to like get done, and this team has it built in. And you have these young players with hot, and it's not like Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga are just like two guys who are like, they're all right, like they don't really like have that great of a future, but at least we have them. Like they are two high ceiling guys. And learning any position with Draymond Green there, Klay Thompson there, and Steph Curry there. Like, also, Steph Curry, in my eyes, is going to be, like, elite for another 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, totally.
So, like, if you lose Klay Thompson, darn. If you lose Draymond Green, darn. But these players really could come in and extend not only just, like, the Warriors' excellence, but the Warriors' dynasty. And I kind of look at the Golden State Warriors, and I see like an opportunity that the Spurs had back in 1997.
Damn, that's some high praise right there, Mike. I I agree. I think the problem, like last year, the problem that the Warriors run into a lot is that their front office, Bob Myers and Joe Lacob, think they are like the second coming of Christ himself, and so they just think they can do no wrong, and so they try to like they try to do two things at once. They try like last year they tried to really hammer like the Wiseman development to try and get him trying, you know,
In my
like
eyes,
in
it was a good thing because what else were the Warriors going to do last year?
well, but hold on, but let me finish. So they tried to, develop Wiseman, but they also tried to win, with Steph and Dre playing as much as they did. So they just got caught in this terrible like in between place where it's like, okay, we're trying to, develop Wiseman, but we're also trying to win games now. And so when Wiseman got hurt, I mean, it sucks to say, I don't want to like say it like this, but they got a lot better as a team
They did.
because they're able to just like focus on, okay, we just want to win now instead of trying to bring along this guy who has played all of like 3 college games in his life. So so I think like whatever way you do it, you got to just go all in on that because when you're in, you're trying to have feet in both, or like I don't know the right way to say it, but like you're trying to do two things at once, and that is not a good place to be.
I disagree. I mean, like, I disagree in this circumstance.
Okay.
Just because of like the complexity of the situation. Like Draymond Green is still Draymond Green. Whether like in my eyes, like people think that he's gotten significantly worse. Like I think that he's been significantly bored.
He's bored.
Yeah, last year. I mean, it was boring for him. Like they weren't like supposed to do like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And Draymond Green can only do so much with the players that he had on the squad because he's kind of like he's just one of the notches on the key that is Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
He's a piece of the puzzle that fits. And I mean, like he's won, he got a defensive player of the year, didn't he? Like
yeah, 17, pretty sure.
Yeah, so like he's not going to be that anymore, but like he's still going to be great on both ends of the ball. He talks, he's smart, he's competitive, and he pushes every single other player around him, especially young players.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting team. Just before we go, they get rid of Eric Pascal. They get rid of Kent Bazemore. They get rid of Kelly Oubre.
Thank God for that.
Like they just lost. I mean, they shook away some just
all three of those
loose change.
All
Guys
three of
that
those
don't matter.
They stunk. And they don't stink like just like by default, but with the way they fit into the team, like
They're bad.
Kent Bazemore had 2 fouls before tip off every game. The dude just fouled so much. Kelly Oubre was running into his own guys, like clogged up things for Steph. Pascal kind of hit a ceiling. Like they tried to run him out there as like a second unit kind of like playmaker, but I don't think he's really that. So all three. I mean, I don't mean to brag on him, but losing all three of those guys was major upgrade for the Warriors. So I like it.
Yeah. All right, moving on. So they let's just talk about who Houston lost, and then we're gonna just talk about the overall roster of Houston. So
Okay.
Houston lost Kelly Olynyk and Sterling Brown. I'd say all we really have to say about that is darn, because they're the Houston Rockets of 2021-2022.
Yeah.
So here we are with the full roster. Moving forward, I mean, we can look at the age first of these players. We can look at who we want to trade, what moves need to be made. I mean, this is just like, it's literally like you hand somebody I don't know, like ingredients to a pie. and like some of the flour's already mixed in with the milk, but you don't know that, and just like ingredients are kind of thrown all over the place, and some of the ingredients you don't even need, and then there's a jar of pickles in there too, and you're just like, well, what am I supposed to do with this jar of pickles? And they're like, well, you're supposed to make a pie with it, and and like that's what I see in this roster. Somewhere in there, there's a pie. But
Yeah.
it's just like
They're gonna stink, is what you're trying to say.
yeah, like they're just not. I mean, like they're not going to be good. Jalen Green thinks he's a top 75 player of all time already.
What?
Yeah, did you see that, dude?
No.
He said
No.
that like so a Jalen Green quote. Jalen Green quote of the day. It was basically him saying, "Man, I can't believe I wasn't in the top 75 players in NBA history. I'm gonna wear
Is that a
chip.
real thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna wear that chip on my shoulder for the next however many years. Here, hold on.
I think you're making that. I've never seen that. I feel
Dude,
like
you
I would
haven't
have seen.
seen it? Let's see. Come on, Jalen Green.
I think you're capping, Mike.
I might be capping. I'd hope I'm capping. Otherwise, it would be hilarious.
Dude, that's an insane thing to say if you've played like 2 NBA games in your life. I know. Well, he was upset that he was the second overall pick, but I didn't see him. But I didn't see him talk about the top 75 list.
All right. Well, I'm gonna just chalk that up to Michael is lying.
Michael has lied on stream officially.
I have officially lied, and I don't feel bad about it at all. Okay. So let's. Well, let's just take a look at their draft picks this year. First off, we can talk about Jalen Green and the G League Unite, and kind of talk about like that opportunity for him. But I think all in all, we have no idea how good or how bad this team is gonna be.
I mean, they're going to be pretty bad, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I feel pretty confident saying they're going to be bad. But they kind of need to be, though. So,
Yeah.
so whatever. I don't really know. I only know, as far as our draft picks go, I only know about Josh Christopher, who played a year at Arizona State.
Talk
outside
about
of
him
that-
a little bit. Who is Josh Christopher as a player?
I mean, he's like a combo kind of guard. I mean, I won't pretend to know everything. Christopher, I don't, but I think I don't know if he'll even play. I think he's a solid pickup though.
Okay.
So
he's
but
just,
all of this comes with the asterisk that this team is gonna freaking suck. So I don't even know if that's super interesting or not.
okay.
So, but it is what it is.
Fair enough. So Jalen Green is Jalen Green. I know about Alfred Sengun. He's supposed to be like solid, but like in the preseason he sucked. But in the G League he was great. So he is probably a power forward equivalent to Chetty Osman. Let's move on.
Okay.
Indiana Pacers. I mean, in my eyes, I pay attention to them about as much as I pay attention to the San Antonio Spurs.
So not much.
Not much, Greg. Not much.
Hey, well, I actually have something interesting to add with the Pacers. So last night I drove to. So I don't know if anyone was watching. So I live in Idaho. Yeah. Last night I drove down to my friend's town, which is Pocatello, Idaho.
Yeah.
Which is where Idaho State University is. And so my friend, I have a few friends there. So but one of my friends who covers sports for the paper there, he has become friends with one of the Idaho State assistants coaches there, who he, I guess, at some point in his career coached Chris Duarte. So I thought that was interesting. So I
Very
have a little bit of a
interesting.
connection with Chris Duarte. I've watched a little bit of his highlights, and he looks pretty good. Dude's very capable,
Yeah.
scorer. So, um, but I think the Pacers. I don't know. I really don't know a lot about the Pacers. What do you think?
Well, the Indiana Pacers, they have some trades to do
Okay,
at the big man position at least.
like who?
Because, well, you either got to get rid of Miles Turner or Domantas Sabonis or Goga Badatsi. And you got to get rid of two of those guys.
Why?
I mean, so Goga is a good player.
Mm-hmm.
Goga is he's a solid player. He in my eyes, he could be a starting center on a team that's growing in the NBA. He could be traded to the Rockets. Because and then Christian would run 4 and he'd be able to develop. But Goga, he deserves minutes in the NBA. And Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis only get in each other's way.
Think so?
I know. I mean, that's kind of like the overall consensus with the team.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they still have Karis LeVert, they have T.J. Warren, and then their guard is Malcolm Brogdon. This is just kind of a middle of the pack team that has a whole bunch of really good players on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm checking. Did the Warriors win? They did beat the Kings. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I'm kind of lukewarm on the Pacers. I mean, I think they are, even though they did add a few. I mean, Torrey Craig is a nice pickup. I think he's a great defender. Um, T.J. McConnell, bless his heart, dude can defend, but not much else. Um, and yeah, I mean, they lost freaking Doug McDermott, who went to the Spurs. Not sure how I feel about him.
I don't
But
know
I
why
think
you guys pick up these players, Greg.
I would.
If I was a San Antonio Spurs fan, some days I would be just like throwing my face against a wall.
Well, yeah, they picked. I mean, we can talk about the Spurs when we get to them, but
Yeah.
freaking Doug McDermott, what's his face, Zach Collins, who cannot stay healthy. So yeah,
All right.
believe me, I know what you mean.
But all in all, San Antonio, Indiana Pacers over under 40 wins, 45 wins this season.
I'll say under. I'll say under. What do you think?
I'd say they're going to win about 40 to 45.
Okay, okay.
So they're kind of like a C tier team in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, kind of middle of the pack. I think they're just kind of they are kind of what they are at this point. So
all right, moving on. Like you said, Doug McDermott, and then Aaron Holiday goes to the Wizards, and that's just them going and getting another Raul Neto, which is like why. So moving on, LA Clippers. They had the 21, 33, and 51 in the draft this year. Keon Johnson, I've heard very little about him, but do you know anything about Keon?
I do not.
All right, well, we don't even really need to care about him. Kawhi's hurt all year. They go out and they get Eric Bledsoe. They get Justice Winslow, which is just kind of like them going out and getting another small forward who can go play 10 minutes for when Kawhi or Paul George sits on the bench. Reggie Jackson is re-signed, which is logical. But what's up with the Eric Bledsoe trade, Greg? Are you what?
Eric Bledsoe sucks, dude.
Yeah.
I think he sucks. He has definitely hit his peak. His best basketball is behind him, for sure. I think they just kind of grabbed him out of necessity. Um, Yeah, dude. I don't know. I mean, he used to be like a solid defender. I mean, good ISO scorer, but now I just feel like he's kind of meh. So
So the Clippers, we can talk about them in a lot of different ways and compare them to the Lakers in the offseason where PG and Kawhi go there. But I would say that since then, and forgetting about the comparisons, the biggest issue for this squad not being able to compete, not being competitive, hurting themselves, which is the biggest issue, is because of team chemistry.
mm-hmm.
They just, I mean, last year during the playoffs when Paul George and Reggie Jackson kind of popped off, that was kind of like a team chemistry boom. They started figuring out. So this upcoming year, it'll be interesting with this team. But
Yeah, I just feel
they still lose Patrick Beverley. They lose Rajon Rondo, and even though those guys aren't locker room all stars, they're two guys that you want on the team.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they just they cobbled together a lot of talent, between Kawhi and Paul George and Beverly, and I don't know, he's not even that talented, but
He's just a vet.
uh
They went and got
yeah,
vets.
well, yeah, but I mean my point is just that they put together a lot of nice pieces and just said, "Okay, like you guys are all your thing."
Yeah.
But obviously that's not the way to win a title, so um I think that was their main issue. But so as much as I love to slander Paul George, I have to admit that playoffs last year. I watched the Warriors and Clippers game the other night. He was pretty good there too.
Paul George
Um,
did well.
yeah, yeah. PG slander is fun, but not always warranted because the dude has, been making it happen recently. So, um,
So far, the Clippers are 0-2 this season.
yeah.
Let's take a look. They are 11th in points per game, and they are 25 out of 30 in opponents' points per game. So their defense is not clicking at all this year, even though they have some defensive players. Look at the roster. It's just basically 1 through 5, 6, 7. And then you hit Isaiah Hartenstein, and it's just like, wow, where was the cliff to even begin with? Injury report. Keon Johnson, their best pick. He's day-to-day, so he's just sick. But Kawhi Leonard is out for the season. Is that right?
For most of it probably. 'Cause he got hurt like April or May, right? With the
Yeah.
playoffs were going. So that's at least a year for ACL. So
All right. Well, so Kawhi. And then, Serge Ibaki's day-to-day. I don't know how big of a difference he's going to make. But this team is going to be, I would say the over-under is 40 games. Greg, what do you say?
I
It
might
is a
say
Paul George-led team with Eric Bledsoe and Reggie Jackson.
I say no. I'm gonna say over just because I don't know. They have a lot of kind of like misfit kind of pieces there, but I mean they're all pretty talented, and PG's really stepped it up, and yeah, even guys like Batum have been difference makers for them. So I'll say over, but maybe not by a whole bunch.
Okay. So you're saying 40 to 45, another one of those teams?
Yeah, maybe like 42, 43, but enough to say.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Terrence Mann's supposed to pop off this season, but
Yeah, man's gonna be good. He is good already, but
so moving on to the other LA team, which picked up Rajon Rondo, we will move on to the Lakers. And this is the squad of they can win a championship and beat the Nets, or they suck.
this
They will suck hard because they're old and raggedy.
Yeah, this team is like the 2013 NBA All-Star team.
Yeah.
This team, yeah, I mean, it's not breaking news, but obviously with guys like Dwight Howard and Melo and Westbrook and even like Bazemore's kind of old and Ariza's hurt, but they added him. Rondo and yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. I just feel like they tried to put together a lot of vets that would help them win a lot of games because I mean last year they had guys like Schroeder and like Morris and guys who I mean they're good, but they're not kind of like the seasoned vets that guys are. So I guess they were just hoping that they would provide some just kind of veteran experience and they know kind of what to do with LeBron. But I don't know, dude. I'm very lukewarm on them, and that's being kind of generous. So, what do you think?
So, with the Lakers, I mean, I'm excited to watch them play. I think it'll be a lot of fun. But before I speak anymore, didn't Sekou Doumbouya get traded to the Nets?
Did he? I don't know.
All right. What the heck? Sekou, I'm so sorry for this little interruption, but Sekou Doumbouya, who is now a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. Congratulations, y'all. You got yourself another Taylor Horton Tucker. That's all I got to say. But, so Anthony Davis and LeBron James aren't hurt right now.
Right.
And Russell Westbrook is not in the second half of the season right now.
What do you mean?
That's like the time of year where he pops off.
Right.
Yeah. So this team, top to bottom, if I'm looking at this team and saying, hey, does this team have a chance to win a championship? I'm not going to stand here and say no.
Right. But
And good, that's the filler, Greg. But Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony. I mean, like everybody else on the squad, old, but they're going to play their roles, and it's fine. But Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony are going to be required to score points.
yeah,
Both of them are going to be required to score points, whether it's catch and shoot or however. Carmelo Anthony, it's going to be catch and shoot and post up. Same deal as Portland Trailblazers last year. He's going to be all right. That's kind of what he does. And on defensive end, he's going to suck. This team now, I mean, I feel like again, two schools of thought. Like either they're gonna be like a top 10 team during the regular season on both sides of the ball, which I can see happening. It's a good team. Mm-hmm. They have defensive pieces. Like they have things to make it work, or they're gonna be middle of the pack and back of the pack on defense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean they don't really. I don't know what kind of like stoppers they have. I mean, like AD, obviously, and I mean LeBron can turn it on when he wants, but I just I don't know. I just don't know who's going to be like the perimeter stopper. I guess is what I'm trying to say. I mean, I was going to be, but like Ariza's hurt, and he's also like 80, so I don't know. And freaking Wayne Ellington is a freaking. Also, he's 80, so
flip of the coin. What is the over under number for this team, which is very important, Greg? Do you have one for us?
I'll say like 40. I'll say 46. What do you think?
46. There's a lot of teams that are kind of like that this year, isn't there, Greg?
Yeah, that might be a little low. Maybe it's closer to like 48 or so, but that's kind of where I'm sitting.
You know what would help me clear this up, Greg?
What's that?
NBA team. We're gonna do a tier list.
Okay.
So we are going to boing ourselves up to the bottom. This is going to be quick, kind of off the jump. Atlanta Hawks, S tier, A, B, C, D.
I'll say A. I'll say A.
A
Yeah, I like him at A.
for the Atlanta Hawks. Okay.
Yes, that's a little optimistic, but that's what I think.
All right. Unless I completely disagree, this is going to be kind of like an off the hip Greg Woods tier list.
Okay.
Boston Celtics, go.
B.
Brooklyn Nets,
A.
Charlotte Hornets,
Hornets, C.
Bulls,
Bulls, B.
Cavs,
Cavs, C.
C,
C, yeah.
Dallas Mavericks,
Mavericks, B.
Nuggets,
Without Murray, I don't know, dude. But I'll say B. I'll say B.
Okay. I'm passing over them a couple times. Who the hell are the Nuggets? Dude, am I just missing the Nuggets? Where are they?
Nuggets. Oh, they're right next to the Raptors. The top like middle, like top row middle.
Oh,
above
that
the
dark blue just... So
Yeah.
A B for the Nuggets?
Yeah. That's what I think.
Okay. Pistons.
Pistons, freaking D.
Yeah, I agree. Warriors.
Warriors. I'll say B. I think they get the A when Clay comes back, but for now I say B.
Okay. Rockets.
Rockets. Oh, D for sure.
Cool. I'm right there with you. Pacers.
Pacers. C.
Clips.
Clippers. I'm thinking. Nah, probably B. Although the fact that I put the Hawks in A and Warriors in B is not looking very right to me, but we can roll with it for now.
Yeah, we'll roll with it for now. This is off the cuff. And also the Hawks were your first team that you put on there.
No, you're right. Yeah, that's good.
Now we're at where we were, Greg, and we can slow down a little bit.
Right.
This is why I wanted to do a tier list. Was because we are looking at the Lakers right now. Where do we put the Lakers? I mean, the Nets are A.
Yeah. But I think the Nets are just a better team. Wow. Without Kyrie,
Are they, though?
Are they? I think so. I mean, they might not be by a whole lot, but I think they're a better team.
But also, you look at some of these teams that are in the B, and you're going to say that the Lakers are just about as good as they are?
Yeah, no, you're right. We need like a B plus as like tier.
That's what the A is for. So here is my adjustment. Brooklyn goes up to S. Atlanta stays A with the Lakers because I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And then I think we're correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Okay. Because, yeah, Atlanta's better. I mean, like, for all you Celtics fans out there, I'm sorry. But, yeah, Atlanta's better than your squad. Chicago, congratulations on the new assets. Atlanta's better than your squad. Denver,
Yeah.
we're going to have to wait. Warriors, we're going to have to wait. Clippers, Kawhi's injured. I'm sorry, but Atlanta's better than your squad. And then, yeah, I'm a fan of this list. All right, so
Totally.
now, while looking at this list, we said 45 games.
For the Lakers?
Like 40, 45-ish games. Like that's the over under.
Yeah, I'm thinking it might be closer to like 48 or so.
Yeah, I'm saying the over under is 50, and I'm gonna take the over.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. I think, yeah, I'm with you. Like 51 and 52.
Yep.
Um,
We literally went from 45, maybe 43, maybe 48 to 50 plus 50,
Yeah.
50 plus.
well, I just thought about it a little, and like
Yeah.
whenever you have LeBron and AD, like you can
Yeah.
go places.
Exactly. So now let's go on ahead and take the last thing we're gonna do is basically say good pickups or bad losses. So while we're looking at Kuzma, Harrell, Caldwell Pope, Carifo, a Morris twin, Schroeder, Macklemore, Drummond. You look at all those guys, and then you look at what they picked up and retained. Are you saying they got good pickups for what they lost, or they lost more than what they gained, pretty much?
I mean, losing Caruso was a big deal. That was a big loss. I don't know why they didn't pay him, but that's a big loss.
But
KCP,
they got Kendrick Nunn, they got Malik Monk, which I know you weren't very high on, and then Rajon Rondo, Taylor Horton Tucker, they went ahead and re-signed.
I mean, big picture, they probably upgraded. But the losses that they had between like Caruso and even like KCP and Kuzma gets a bad rap, but I think he's fine. So, but I think they upgraded, but I don't think the margin is like that wide though.
Yeah. Okay. So we're kind of on a. They lost about what they gained.
I think they gained a little bit. Loss, but not by a whole lot, though.
All right, so they're net positive. I'm gonna say. Net negative.
Okay. I can see that.
All right. Continuing on, you got the Grizz. Oh. All right. So yeah, we got Lakers in the A. Now we have Grizzlies.
Yeah.
They do a lot of moves this offseason.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think we need to simplify it and take a look. So they got John Morant.
Yeah.
They go out, they get Jarrett Culver, which is just like a guy,
Yeah.
I don't really think there's much to talk about there. Dylan Brooks and Zaire Williams are their threes. Justice Winslow, who actually is not even on this squad anymore, he's bye-bye. And then you have what they actually have in the department of being solid. They have good fours and good fives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so basically you got Ja, and then the fours and fives, and everybody else is almost a question mark for this year. But this team is on tier in a lot of ways in just winning as the Portland Trailblazers. And that is because of Ja Morant.
Mm-hmm.
And because last year they were very, 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 very close. And then the year before they were very, very close with competing with the Blazers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, we're looking at the Memphis Grizzlies. We got to slot them in here. Are they?
Yeah.
Are they a B tier team?
What are they? No, I think
Or are they more like the Pacers?
oh
But
shoot.
here also, I say they're B tier.
Okay.
And before, we're gonna have a lot of B tier teams just looking around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's gonna be quite a number of B tier teams, but that's also because there's a lot of stuff that's just kind of in the unknown.
Right.
So the Memphis Grizzlies, they're kind of like the Dallas Mavericks, which is kind of funny for me to say, except the surrounding players of the star player are just better. They have a great ball handler with an outside shooting big, who's the number 2. And then you got a lob threat here. You got Steven Adams is kind of an outlier, but I would just kind of compare him to the Dallas Mavericks, except they don't have Luka Doncic. They have Ja Morant.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
go
ahead.
they are 2 of the best young players in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Except at this point, would you rather have Jaren Jackson Jr. or would you rather have Kristaps Porzingis?
Jaren Jackson for sure, 100%.
Cool. And then would you rather have Brandon Clark or would you rather have Dwight Powell?
Clark, definitely.
Interesting. Okay. They were super duper close, and I'd rather have Clark too. And then you move to the 3 position, and that's just kind of up in the air, and the bench is also up in the air, and I feel like the bench on the Mavericks is a little bit more stable because Jalen Brunson is just kind of that guy for them for the past couple of years. So basically, the Mavericks, in my eyes, if they don't get to the second or third round this year, which is going to be, they at least have to make it to the second round. But if they can't take that step, which they are totally capable of doing, then if I'm the Memphis Grizzlies, I'm looking at the Dallas Mavericks and I'm just saying, how do we not become them? Because you kind of enter an NBA purgatory.
Yeah. I think the Mavericks, or the Grizzlies are a lot less. Obviously Ja is their guy, but the ball is not in his hands as much as it is with Luka and Dallas. So I think that's the main difference between those teams.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think the Grizzlies have a little less scoring punch than the Mavericks do. But I don't think a whole lot separates them though.
So B is appropriate for Memphis.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. For what it's worth, I'm still surprised that Indiana's in C when some of these teams are up here, like Memphis and Chicago, but it definitely makes sense because all of these teams have electrifying scores, and Indiana does not have that. So
right.
That's what kind of sets them apart, folks. Miami. There's just so much to unpack with Miami. Greg, go ahead and start us off.
Miami, they just have a really nice core there going. Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, and now they have PJ Tucker on the team too. Added Oladipo, who I don't think is going to be a big difference maker, but solid pickup nonetheless. And obviously getting Kyle Lowry too, a big deal for them. So they're going to be good, man. I just feel like they never quite go away. Like even in their lean years, they were still kind of hanging around. So
Yeah.
uh,
Kind
so
of like the San Antonio Spurs.
yeah, I mean the last couple of years have been rough, but even a couple of years ago they were still hanging around that like 9-8 seed range. So
Yeah.
yeah, I know what you
But
mean, but
this squad is solid, Greg. You got it. You got it kind of nailed on the head. They're not going anywhere, and I mean they'll either lose in the first round or they'll make it all the way. You just don't. Yeah, I mean seriously, you really don't know with this squad.
yeah,
I wish I had the. Here's the playoff bracket from last year. Like I said, I mean they lost in the first round to the champions. Nothing to be ashamed of, but they signed Victor Oladipo for pennies on the dollar. Victor Oladipo is also fat again. He's fat again. So, like, that just means Victor Oladipo's career is down the toilet. And until he gets skinny again, I will not believe in Victor Oladipo. But ignoring him and what mediocre contributions he will make this season, you have at the 1, Kyle Lowry. At the 2, Tyler Hero. At the 3, Jimmy Butler. And then at the 4, that's really
I
really
think
up in the air. What?
I think Hero is coming off the bench for them. I think their starting five is Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy, Bam Adebayo, and somebody.
What? PJ Tucker and Bam Adebayo?
Yeah, that's probably what it is. But they're gonna be good. I think I'm a little more optimistic about them. But yeah, I like them a lot.
Yeah, they're a solid squad. Everybody on that team is gonna give like by the end of the year. There's 2 things that are given with this team. They are going to. 2 hours. Hold on. So they're gonna have great chemistry, and they will not give up.
Yeah.
So on themselves, they will believe in themselves, which is and the power of belief is a very important thing. Before I continue on, Pokey, what's up, my guy? How you doing, dude? Welcome back to the stream. I understand Rainbow Six is a fun game. Don't worry about it, dude. We are only to the Miami Heat. These are all the teams that we have done so far. But now talking about this squad, Greg, a little bit.
With the Heat?
Are they with the rest of the Bs here? Are they just another B team?
Part of me is tempted to make them an A, but they just have so many new pieces. I don't know how they fit into the whole equation. So I don't know, dude. I feel bad putting another B team. That's kind of the way I'm leaning.
Now, Greg, don't get voters fatigue here. We got to think about this. There's a reason. I mean, there is a reason why all of these teams are a B tier team.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, Chicago and Miami remind me of each other, but Miami has more solidified pieces, and they also have a resume. Chicago doesn't have those things.
Right. I think if you were going to make I don't know.
I think if we are to do anything really outlandish here, I think the team to bet on would be the Miami Heat and to throw them in the A category.
Okay, let's do it.
I mean, their team is good. No matter what way you want to look at it, offensively they will be productive. Defensively, they are going to be a top 5 to top 10 team in the NBA, which is just like, I mean, it's nothing to shake a stick at. Like all the rest of these teams, they have question marks. I mean, yeah, sure, the Golden State Warriors may go up to S, and like, who knows? Maybe the Clippers will go down to a D tier because I don't know, but like, or maybe the Chicago Bulls will go down to D tier. You know, I mean, there's a lot of big question marks here, and there's so many less question marks here with the Miami Heat, especially at the beginning of the season.
I'm with you. I agree.
All right, cool. So, wrapping it up on Miami Heat, they still have Udonis Haslem. Okay, so Milwaukee Bucks, they re-signed Bobby Portis, and then they went out and drafted two guys who are hopefully like they're still like they're just Euro players who like have 2 more years left in the Euros. But basically, I mean, they go sign Bobby Portis, Semi Ojeleye, George Hill, which they've had George Hill there before.
Right.
But they get Grayson Allen. Did Brent Forbes go back to the Spurs?
Yep. He is back in San Antonio. Yep. Yes, sir.
Why did the Spurs bring him back?
I'm shooting, I guess. That's about all he does out there.
God. They're like, oh, we lost. Who went to the Nets?
Patty Mills.
Yeah. Oh, we lost Patty Mills. Better go out and get a guy who's aging, and will take away minutes from our young players.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I think they just needed to have bodies in there, so and bread was available, so
Fair enough. Well, Milwaukee Bucks, did they get better or worse? I mean, like, pretty much everything wraps around PJ Tucker in my eyes.
in terms of okay, yeah, for sure. But bringing in guys like Grayson, I mean, Grayson Allen gets a bad rap, but I think he's fine. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah.
So and then Portis was good in the finals, so I think it's important that they re-sign. So I mean, they're about the same, to be honest with you. I mean, they have added a few guys, but no one really earth-shattering.
All right. But just in terms of tier list, I say Milwaukee jumps up to S.
Yeah, I mean they're the defending champions, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I really wish there was more to say, but
Yeah.
Giannis, man, and he's getting better. Like, it's tough not to say S. Now the Timberwolves. So they are the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they still have Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards, and so far this year they are undefeated at 2-0.
Right.
And I watched Karl Anthony Towns stream earlier this year, and he was streaming himself watching NBA tape, which is just the smartest thing you can do as an NBA player who's looking to win games in the regular season.
Yeah.
God. And he said that D'Angelo Russell is one of the smartest players in the NBA. Which, after watching tape, I can see why he says that. But let's look at this roster. Karl, Anthony Edwards, D. Russ. That's their big three. That's pretty cool.
D'Angelo Russell sucks.
Yeah,
I think he's mid.
You like. I'm an okay fan of D. Russ. I'm an okay fan of the guy.
I think he is
a waste of space.
He's a net positive player, but the dude is like not very athletic. Doesn't really get to the rim very much. Is not that much of a distributor either. I don't think he really guards anybody. So
there's really not that much to say. On the Minnesota Timberwolves as a whole. My cousin, Big E, Elliot out there, 2 kids, 2 boys, about to be NBA players in 18 years. I'm looking at this squad, and I'm saying, well, I guess it's another year of just waiting and seeing.
Yeah.
Because you're still asking, like, hey, Carl, like, there was a point in time where we were happy that we had you and not Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
And now we're looking at you and saying, what the hell?
Yeah.
Now, there's some front office issues that, kind of like are linked with that. And Greggorz knows. But it's basically you got Carl, Anthony, Russ, Naz Reid, Malik Beasley, and then you kind of have Jordan McLaughlin and Jaden McDaniels, and then the rest of everybody else is just kind of like, wow, they hustle really good, or oh, that white boy can jump high.
Yeah.
And Ricky Rubio is not on this squad. I don't think he's on the
Cavs.
Yeah, he's on the Cavs. So
Yeah.
Moving on over, Minnesota Timberwolves. How is he a C or a D tier? Or are the Minnesota Timberwolves C or D?
I'm gonna say D, Mike. I think they're gonna be pretty bad.
So, Cleveland Cavaliers are up here. And they're with the Hornets and the Pacers. Now, if we have the Timberwolves down here at D, I say that we make this move right here.
What do you mean?
Move the Cleveland Cavaliers from C to D.
Oh. Okay, yeah, it's fine.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, because I think the Timberwolves are better than the Cavs. If there's an F tier, then like these two teams would be, So I would say that like Detroit and Rockets are F tier, and like Minnesota and Cleveland they're D tier.
Yeah.
But they have no draft picks, which is just absurd to me because they're the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Right.
But yeah, moving forward, the New Orleans Pelicans, which is one of the most exciting young teams in the NBA. If you haven't been watching, they went a whopping. Let's take a look ski. Minnesota, no. Pelicans. Right now they're 0-3. Their head coach is Willie Green, dog, which I mean, he was sitting there behind the Warriors bench for years, so he must know what he's doing.
Guess so. I don't know much about him though.
But this squad in the 2020-21 season, we are looking at the Pelicans. They won 31 games, lost 41. They had Lonzo Ball. Let's take a look. I mean, if you look at this little chart up here with the greens and reds, the reds are losses and the greens are wins, obviously. And then I think how far they stretch is essentially like how much they won or how much they lost by.
Yeah.
Not too many close games throughout the season. It looks like almost every game, or a big chunk of it, was basically, we're going to beat the living shit out of you, or we're going to bend over and take it.
Yeah.
This team, let's move on back to the list. suffers with consistency. And the reason why is obvious. Would you agree?
Because they suck.
Yes, but they have lanky boy Kevin Durant wannabe,
Ingram.
Brandon Ingram. And Brandon Ingram, God bless his soul, he's a solid player.
Yeah.
But he's like, I mean, he's how many years into the league, and he reminds me of Kevin Durant's like rookie year.
Yeah.
Or like his first 2 years in the NBA. And I was young, and I don't even really remember the frickin' Supersonics, but
Yeah.
he's a solid player, but he hasn't. I mean, none of these players have contributed to like legitimate winning, except technically Zion Williamson, because they won a lot of the games that he played in last year, and it's just like this team kind of like is just gonna fuck it up again. Like that's all that. I mean, that's really what they're gonna do. Is they're just gonna mess it up again. They're gonna have another like top 5 NBA player at the time. Like when Zion gets older, like I hate to break it to you all, but Zion's gonna lose weight and he's gonna become good again. Like,
Hope so.
he will. Like he's just that good. He is a good basketball player. He is smart. Like even if he gets hurt, he's gonna fix something. He's gonna figure it out. And he works hard too. He's not lazy like his weight suggests. He's just a big dog.
He's been eating a lot, I can tell.
Yeah.
But
Everybody can tell. But it's just the New Orleans Pelicans have something special, and they already lost Lonzo Ball.
I'm a little less optimistic about them than it sounds like you are.
I mean, I'm not even going to throw them in C. They're going in D.
Okay.
But
I was thinking more C, but if you think
really?
they're gonna, yeah. I mean, I don't think they're gonna be as bad as like the friggin' like Rockets or.
Yeah, but those we've agreed are kind of more like F.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
What did I just move up, yo? Did I just flip these teams on accident? I don't know. Oh well. So yeah, I literally just flipped the teams on accident. Great, I'm a genius.
Nice.
Yeah, so I would put the Pelicans on tier with the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, yeah, that we could throw them up in C, and I wouldn't be upset about it at all, because I would also compare them to the Hornets. But Zion won't be back till like All-Star break or something like that.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Zion Williamson, out foot. He had surgery to repair a foot fracture, but should be back in time for the start of the regular season. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
No, definitely not.
He's still got to get into game shape, and that's going to be another couple months, at least.
Right.
So New Orleans Pelicans. Greg, you go ahead and make the final decision, but I am leaning more D.
Okay. Yeah, we can go with D. That's fine.
Okay. Knicks. They pick up Quentin Grimes, which he is another guard. And they go out and get Evan Fournier, re-sign Derrick Rose. You know, they keep their Tibbs guy with Taj Gibson, and go get Kemba Walker for pennies. And Nerlens stays. I mean, this team is solid.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is just, it's... They're not C.
No.
And they're not A.
No. Definitely B. I
So,
think
like,
B is...
before we even, actually start talking about them, we're going to throw them in the B column. But, so the Knicks, their biggest pickup this offseason is Evan Fournier, who's kind of been pogging for them at the start of the season.
He's been waiting for them?
Pogging, player of the gaming.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it. Okay.
Yeah. So, looking at this squad, it's solid.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. I mean, barring injuries, like, this team is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think they'll just be... I don't know. I feel like as soon as they realize the Knicks are actually good, we're like, oh my God, the Knicks. But they lost to the Hawks in like 5 games or 6 games, something like that. I think it was 5. So I don't know. I don't want to lukewarm on them, but I mean, bringing in guys like Kemba, who I don't even think is that good anymore, but Kemba, and I've actually met Alec Burks before. Him and I had talked a couple years ago for a...
Really?
I was interning at the Star in Kansas City, and so I was talking to him for a story. But
That's very cool.
yeah, I mean, he's fine.
Alec Burks, I always threw onto the same, and I always threw him into the same bus as like Rodney Hood.
Yeah,
They were also on the Jazz like a long time ago at the same time.
yeah. So next, yeah, B for sure. I think they'll be fine, but nothing special.
Nothing special. Okay, so there's your Knicks content, New York. Enjoy it. All right, Oklahoma City, and it's too bad that Zachary Francis is not here to talk to us right now. But yeah, you came in and kind of hit it on the nuts. Oklahoma City, bad. They lose Al Horford, they lose Moses Brown, they lose Kemba Walker, they lose Tony Bradley. All of those players are NBA contributors, and they say, "Ooh, goody, let's go get Derek Favors."
Yeah.
And, I mean, like, so Oklahoma City essentially did what they were supposed to do this offseason, and they re-signed Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And then, like, everybody else is basically like a, who cares, like, at all, except Trey Mann. I think he's, like, supposed to be okay. But Josh Giddey is the guy who we're going to talk about, Greg.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure we've talked about him before.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in our NBA group chats. But do you have a take on Josh Giddey?
No, actually, the only really thing I know about Josh Giddey is that around the time of the draft, when they different like places will do their like scouting videos and all the prospects, and they'll have a screen where it's like strengths are this and weaknesses are this. His weaknesses were like ball handling, defense, shooting, like every facet of the game.
That
And I was
you
like,
need to play professional basketball.
yeah, I was like, damn, this sounds like this guy like can't do a whole lot. Like, what can he do?
So to at least correct a little bit of the doubters, now that I've watched more NBA basketball with Josh Giddey, I'm not so low on him as I used to be. But I compared him to Dante Exum.
Okay.
And with the Florida guy who I talked to, he agreed with me. He thought that Josh Giddey, I mean, like at number 6, he was taken, top 6. I mean, Dante Exum was number 5 in the draft to the Jazz. Like, you got this guy who can play make, is kind of long. I mean, it's a little bit different with Giddey because Dante Exum was way more like defensive oriented and Josh Giddey is more offensively oriented. But I think they're both Australians. Both come from the same league. And, Josh Giddey struggles with shooting a little bit, but he has a very smooth stroke. Dante Exum did not have a very smooth stroke. He had a choppy stroke. It was kind of like, who's the Kings guard who almost won Rookie of the Year last year?
Kings. Oh, Ty Halliburton.
Yeah, Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have a broken shot. His ball handling is kind of like a slow version of what Luka Doncic kind of does. Which, I mean, Luka Doncic is quick, and that's part of the reason why he is so good. He's also very strong. I mean, not Josh Giddey, Luka is. But, Josh Giddey was kind of a roll of the dice, like, at the end of everything, and you're going to kind of see how he plays out in the next 2 years. If he gets his shot right, he's a smart player, and he's going to end up being good. But if Michael Everett's brain is Michael Everett's brain, which is a smart brain, I've watched him play, and I'm just not enthralled with what he's got going on, especially at number 6 in this year's draft. I mean, I'd rather take either 2 of the Warriors picks, especially for OKC. But OKC is obviously a D, F tier team.
Yeah.
They are the bottom of the league. Nobody should care about what they're doing except Oklahoma City fans and fans who want what Oklahoma City has, which is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is basically their only major trade asset right now. And in my eyes, I think keeping him is just going to kind of hinder his career, especially with the talent that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is. Like, they got to get... I mean, he's got to get fed up with something in Oklahoma City in either this year or next year, and he's going to get moved. I mean, if he's a smart player, you just can't be hurting yourself all that much. I understand, you want to... If Shai stayed and, they got these other pieces and Josh Giddey got good... They got Derek Favors had a research, not actually Derek Favors, but Derek Favors, taught one of their young bigs to be good, and it was like, oh my God, this team can win 40 games every year and make it to the playoffs. Like, that's all they're gonna ever do. Like, they're one of the worst teams in the league. And I really don't see a significant future for them right now. Even though they have a billion draft picks, they need to just they need to get Shai out of there, completely reset everything there, and hope that every roll of the die just, it hits, and pray that all of the other little stuff, like just chemistry and culture and everything kind of comes with that, because you got a lot of stuff to build if you're Oklahoma City, especially, I mean, building a winning culture after having the past that you had. It's tough, because I mean, like, Oklahoma City has just gone through so many toxic events in the last decade that I don't know what they're going to have to do to get back on track. But even if they do hit good rolls of the dice here in the next 5 years, it's still going to be kind of a big question mark to see, like, okay, even though all these players are good and they're on the team, like, how many games do they win every season? And is it even, like, is it more than the Chris Paul season that we had? which is kind of good. Like once you surpass the Chris Paul season, you made it, but they got to do that.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to the Orlando Magic.
Magic.
Take it away.
Well, they're gonna be bad. They're gonna suck. They're gonna be really bad. They're also gonna be bad. I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but they're gonna be bad. I mean, Suggs obviously is their biggest draft pick. Big pickup for them. Very talented guy, but this roster just freaking stinks, man. I mean, who do they even have? They have Jonathan Isaac.
They got both. They have both of the Wagner brothers.
Yeah,
they have Moritz and Franz.
Oh yeah, it's true. It's true. They have freaking Jonathan Isaac, who has gone full.
Hold on, we lost you at the Jonathan Isaac comment.
I said they have Jonathan Isaac, who has gone full MAGA. He is an anti-vaxxer. He is insane. They have freaking They still have Mo Bamba?
I got Hose. Yeah, they still got him.
Yeah, he stinks. And they're going to be bad. I don't think this team is very interesting at all.
Well, Greg, you better watch out when Terrence Ross becomes a free agent. You never know. Maybe your Spurs will go out and pick him up.
Isn't he like geriatric? Isn't he like in his 80s?
Terrence Ross?
Terrence Ross, yeah.
He was born in 91.
Okay, but that means he's like 30 something.
30.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
but 30. They're going to be bad. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Well, they went on ahead and signed Wendell Carter to an extension. It doesn't say here. They kind of have a backcourt hold up with Markelle Fultz, Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, R.J. Hampton. And then Michael Carter-Williams is just kind of there. Even though they brought him in when they were trying to win, he's still around. So he's just kind of a leftover piece. And then Gary Harris, I think, is along that same mold too. Jonathan Isaac is one of these players that I look at and I go, wow, I love this guy. And I have loved him since I watched him and when I went to the NBA Summer League and I saw him and I was like, this guy is crazy because he was massive. He would tower over people. He would shoot fadeaway J's. He would do a lot of the stuff that Brandon Ingram would do, except not being 6'9", he was 6'11". And even more so, he was a defensive stopper, which can't really do any stopping or going if you're not on the court, Greg.
Yeah.
So I think Greg is right. This team will
stink.
It'll stink. I'm sorry. This is probably the team that I watch the second most in the NBA.
I'm sorry.
And it's more out of love. I mean, I liked the Orlando Magic when Dwight Howard was there, and Dwight Howard was one of my first loves in the NBA, and just like that love has not lasted long, but at least I don't really have hope, but I have like my eye on him. So keeping it moving.
Okay.
Finally, we are here. We are at the Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
what do you?
Interesting, to say the least, of the Ben Simmons story and how it's developed. It starts out with them taking him, holding him down, tying him to railroad tracks, and laughing as they go through the interviews, and every single player and all the coaches throw him under the bus after the playoff loss. And Ben Simmons gets angry and says, "Hey guys, that wasn't very nice." and nobody really pays attention. And then a couple months ahead of time, he goes up and talks to Rich Paul, his agent, and says, "Hey, man, those guys are mean. I don't like mean people. I don't want to be there anymore. Let's tell them that I am mentally checked out and that they should just trade me. And then that way, I don't have to go through everything with Philadelphia, and, we can just kind of like move on with our lives. And they can just trade me for whoever." And that doesn't really work out very well, especially when your draft stock is at an all-time low and your general manager is Daryl Morey.
Right.
So the 76ers past 6 months have been, just embarrassing.
Yeah. Stress.
And they signed Daryl Morey, which, great. But, any other GM would look at the situation and be like, oh, shoot, man, this is just not a good situation for either parties. Yeah, getting rid of Ben Simmons would benefit both of us. And instead of doing that, he decides to put a permanent distraction to the whole entire team just in the name of getting more.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, being greedy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think... I don't know, dude. As far as, Ben is concerned, even though I think the team has not been totally fair to him, he also kind of brought it on himself just by being the kind of player he is, with as many offensive limitations as he has. So I think there's a lot of blame to go around, but the reality is, if he was a threat in the half court on offense, this probably would not be a problem. But he has the yips and will not contribute offensively, so we are here where we are.
Yeah.
So
I agree. They could go a whole entire season without Ben Simmons, and they sat down and spoke with the team, or Ben and the team spoke, and he basically said, "Hey guys, look, I can't even mentally be here right now because it's just it's traumatizing for the guy." Which is so understandable. But in the meantime, they are 1-1, which is fine. It's the start of the season, so that number literally means nothing. And Furkan Korkmaz is going to get an opportunity to start, and who's their guard? Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey is also gonna get some opportunities, and they're if I'm the coach, it's really just a time. With Ben gone and not having another player that's Ben Simmons caliber or kind of in that ballpark, you get a lot of time now here to just kind of play around here in the first 10 to 15 games of the season and have no repercussions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you.
So
I think
the 76ers are still an A-tier team for me.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I like that.
But do you have anything else to say before we move on?
No, I think we covered it all, to be honest. So
okay, cool. Yeah, Dwight Howard leaves, George Hill goes bye-bye, nobody cares. All right. Phoenix Suns.
Good. They're good.
And you know who just beat them last night? Blew them out, by the way.
Who was it?
The Portland Trailblazers, a team we're going to be talking about next. But And I'm not going to say the Portland Trailblazers had a perfect offseason, but it was damn near. Phoenix Suns. Campaign re-signed. CP got re-signed. Didn't he kind of restructure the deal more so? And got a couple years added on. Yeah, I think he essentially sacrificed immediate money and and kind of threw it down the road, but got himself more money in the end. So Campaign, who was a contributor, Chris Paul, who's he's all-star caliber still. JaVale, you got some, and then Nader, who I think I watched him some last year. I was like, wow, who is that guy? And then Alfred Payton, who I've always been a fan of, and Landry Shamet. Yeah, so they lose Javon Carter and Torrey Craig. Torrey Craig goes back to Brooklyn. Javon Carter goes to Brooklyn, and Torrey Craig goes back to the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah. Yeah. Suns. I like the Suns. I think getting Landry Shamet was a big deal. Sneaky big deal because the guy can shoot the cover off the ball. Also can guard a little bit. So Suns are the Suns. I think they're a tier team, and they're obviously coming off a finals trip. So until something changes, I think it's fair to say they're a tier team. That's the way I see them.
Cool. All right, moving on. Portland Trailblazers, and Greg, I'm gonna let you say everything that you want to say before I even take off.
No, this is your thing, dude. Go for it. This is all you.
Okay, cool. So Greg Brown, who is a second-round pick for us, who is a high flyer, and he's talented. He's decently smart. He knows that there are reads to be made on the floor, which is that's not something to be wow about, but it's me as a Trailblazers fan, he's the only pick that we had this year, so I'm at least more excited for him than I was for CJ Ellaby, who we drafted out of the second round. Greg Brown really does have potential to be a good player in the NBA. He's just gotta work really hard. And there's so many players in the NBA that I could say that about, but it's my Portland Trailblazers, so I'm going to say Greg Brown, I'm excited about him. Now, in the offseason here, we're going to start with Norman Powell and how we re-signed him. We traded away Gary Trent for Norman Powell last season, and Norman Powell was the guy who if we didn't re-sign him, then we just lost a young asset for zero reason. And also, I think we threw a second-round pick or a first-round pick or something in there, too. I'm pretty sure it was just a second. And it ended up being a good trade for us, and Norman Powell enjoyed the culture enough. And, usually when you have guys who just kind of, stick around, who are just kind of there for half a season, it doesn't exactly... they're just kind of uncomfortable, and they're not trying to step on anybody's toes, especially if there's kind of a looming, re-sign, where, both parties are just kind of are you going to re-sign? And you're I think I am, but I'm not completely sure. The moment he re-signed, it was kind of like a breath of relief, and everybody was good. We got this third guy who is, he's just going to be a contributor on both sides of the ball, and going out and getting him last season was just proven even better the second that we got Chauncey Billups as our head coach. It was almost like Norman Powell became that much better when he got out of Terry Stott's system. Cody Zeller in the first two games as a Portland Trailblazer has been he's been net positive. He's been a positive contributor. And him behind Yusuf Nurkic, it's basically it's good. At the end of the day, it's good. And the reason why is because Yusuf Nurkic is injury prone, and Cody Zeller is a backup center who can contribute on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And that's and he also passes a little bit, but Yusuf Nurkic is probably our team's best passer, which you may not know, Greg. But he's a talent. When it comes to I don't know about best passer, but he's just the most natural passer. He makes those, pocket passes, the tight passes really well, and doesn't look like he's putting a lot of effort into it. And then the bottom of the bench guys, Tony Snell, who's the very, very first, 50, 40, 100 club, guy. Or
What?
50, 50, 100. Yeah, he shot 100% from free throw.
He must not have taken a whole lot of free throws.
No, he took enough free throws to be a part of the club. That's all I got here. Let's actually let's do some research. Portland Trailblazers. There they are. Now we take a look at. This might be last year's team. No, we have Ben McLemore here. There we are, Tony Snell. Now, last year, he played in 47 games, started 23, played 21 minutes a game, shot 4 shots a game, went 50% from 3, over 56. Holy shoot, 57% from 3, and then shot his free throws. I mean, he shot barely any free throws, you're right. But he still shot 100, which is dope.
Yeah.
He shot 100%, which is impossible to do, especially with the minutes that he was playing. It's just wow. Not saying that he's the game changer, but yeah. And then Larry Nance Jr., who, I mean, if you've listened to anything Trailblazers, which I'm sure that you haven't, Chauncey Billups will talk about how Larry Nance Jr. will play some small ball 5 for us this year, which is, I mean, it's exciting. And Larry Nance Jr. is also a talented player and underrated, which is very important to pay attention to. And take a look at the players we lost, take a look at the players we gained. I mean, you look at the players that we gained, and you're like, and I mean, if I wasn't a Trailblazer fan, I'm looking at it and I'm going, you know what, you probably lost about what you gained there, Mike. And I all I can do is just disagree, because you look at the people who did nothing but hurt us last season, and those are the 4 names I think of. Zach Collins didn't even play. Derek Jones Jr. wasn't even given an opportunity to contribute. And Enes Kanter and Carmelo Anthony did nothing on the nothing on the defensive end for us last year. And if we're bringing in a defensive-minded coach, and on top of that we go get a couple players that could play some defense, like Cody Zeller, like Larry Nance Jr., like Norman Powell, then I mean, I just get out of here with some Enes Kanter and Carmelo Anthony talk. We have Damian Lillard, we have CJ McCollum, Norman Powell is no schlub, Yusuf Nurkic, hopefully he'll stay healthy during the season. It's just we're establishing a system on both sides of the ball. So now the biggest question of them all, what tier is the Portland Trailblazers?
Probably. I mean, I feel like B is probably the best answer.
No, they're not A.
No.
And I
But
know
they're also-
I know a lot of people who would put them in the C column.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who would look at this list and go, the Portland Trailblazers, save Dame, C. But that's not true, because like a lot of these other teams in the B column, there's a lot of question marks.
Yeah.
And the Portland Trailblazers are one of those teams where, I mean, they're healthy right now, and they got a lot of question marks, but we also just blew out the Suns. Yeah, it's the second game of the season, I get it. But there's just less question marks for the Hornets and Pacers.
Yeah.
There just is.
Yeah, they're gonna be bad, but I think Blazers are pretty safe bet at B for sure.
Okay. And now I'm looking at this, I kind of want to move the Timberwolves up, but that's for a later date. Sacramento Kings. Davion Mitchell is a menace.
He's a menace.
Dude, he is a menace. Have you watched this guy play?
Oh yeah, I mean not so much with Sacramento,
You got
but
to. You got to, man.
yeah.
Like Sacramento Kings, it's they're kind of like the reverse. They're the reverse version of the Indiana Pacers.
What do you mean?
They got guards out the wazoo,
Mm.
but like nothing really significant on the big side, and the Pacers have bigs out the wazoo. I wouldn't be surprised if Sacramento Kings and the Pacers make some trades this season.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the good news for the Kings is that they got rid of Whiteside, who is one of the absolute worst players in the NBA. He is just a hot, steaming pile of just poo-poo.
Yeah.
Good God, dude has no idea what is going on. But he's like 8 feet tall, so people are like, "Oh, he gets blocked." No,
He does get blocks though.
he does get blocked,
But that's it. But it's usually
Yeah.
because he's jumping 10 feet in the air and he's going ha.
Yeah, exactly. So overall, though, I mean, he's an offensive zero. Defense gets blocks, but also lost a lot of times off the ball. So that's good. That's a great loss for them. Addition by subtraction. But they are going to be bad. They're going to be not as bad as they have been, but bad. So I just hope.
Are
Yeah,
they
I
like
hope.
DF?
No, I think they're like D probably for me.
Okay.
So I think they're not. I mean, they won't be terrible. They won't be as bad as the D teams. Or no, or sorry, I meant not C for sure. Sorry.
It's all right. All right. Well, so Sacramento, they have Tristan Thompson. They have
Yeah.
Alex Lynn. They have Rashawn Holmes. They go get Terrence Davis away from the who they re-signed, so they must have traded for him from the Raptors, and he had a decent season a couple years ago. Just yeah, nothing. Davion Mitchell, they got guards out the wazoo, but this team is nothing to talk about compared to this next team, the San Antonio Spurs. Which Greg, would you rather talk about it just off this list here? Or do you want me to bring up the roster?
I mean, I kind of know more or less who we got. I mean, as far as new guys, and we got Josh Primo. Is like 18 years old. He looks like he's like 15, but he is in fact 18. Like him so far, very shifty. Obviously, playing in the NBA at age 18 is going to be a big transition, but I think he can do it. We also drafted Joe Wieskamp. I don't know if he'll play very much. Doug McDermott, whatever. Zach Collins, hopefully he's healthy. Forbes, make some threes. Jock Landale actually might be the more interesting of those four.
So before you get into Jock Landale, I'll tell you the one thing that I know about Jock Landale.
Okay.
2K has his potential as an 84.
Jeez, okay.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead about Jock Landale because I am interested.
I'm not like super duper knowledgeable about him, to be honest with you, but he is an very intriguing Australian prospect. He has good height to him. How tall is he? He is 6'11". Dude is a freaking tower. And it sounds like he has some game. Like he's not just a freaking body. Like the dude can play on all too. So yeah, excited about Jock Landale, especially because he's like 26, but that's still pretty young. So I like him a lot. So, but then we got guys like freaking Al-Farouq Aminu, who is like again geriatric. He's like 90. Thad Young, who is the most average player in the NBA I've ever heard of.
Dude. So there's with Thaddeus Young, I either hear from like, um, who's I like Bill Simmons will be like, man, Thad Young, man, that guy, he's solid. Especially when he was on the Bulls, he was like, some nights he'll come out there and you'll be like, oh, he's all right, but other nights you're like, how is this guy not a top 20 player in the NBA? And like there's some people like that, and then there's people like us who are like Thaddeus Young, like
yeah,
He's yeah, like I don't care about Thaddeus Young.
yeah, I really don't either. He's on. Yeah, he's a very whatever kind of. But I mean, losing guys like Patty is tough. Losing Rudy Gay is gonna be a deal because he can still play at age 34 or whatever he is. So, that's gonna hurt those two losses, but they need to stink anyway, which is what they're gonna do. So that's okay.
All right.
I can live with it. So
Spurs D tier.
No, I say C, and that's not even me being Homer. I think they're not gonna be. I think they'd be bad, but they're not gonna. They're gonna win like 29 or 30 games probably.
Greg, I want you to look at this list and say the San Antonio Spurs are better than the Minnesota Timberwolves.
No. Oh, well, but the Wolves at C though. I feel like that's more accurate anyway.
Okay, I agree.
Because I think they're about as good as they're about the same. So I think that would be best. Because really, I mean, I don't think. I mean, I know I love my Spurs, but it's not going to be like Thunder or Pelicans or Cavs or anybody. So yeah, that is my Spurs take.
All right. We'll let it ride. All right. I don't really have anything else to say. Alfreak, he's old, and he was injured all last season. So congratulations on that pickup.
Yeah.
And Rudy Gay goes back to the Utah Jazz. Toronto Raptors. They lose Kyle Lowry, and they gain Precious Achua and Goran Dragic. A trade that benefits both parties.
Yeah.
Gary Trent resigns, which that basically means that the Toronto Raptors and the Portland Trailblazers win the trades on both sides of the deal of the coin. So apparently Sam Decker is back on an NBA roster.
Apparently.
Yeah, which is like freaking. I mean, like, go Sam. Like him and Frank Kaminsky just won't leave the league.
Yeah.
But Scotty Barnes is legit. Number 4 pick of this year's draft. He is legit. I've yet to see any of the top 5 picks. Number 6 is a little shaky, but I have yet to see any of the top 5 picks from this draft be like complete and utter like disappointments.
Yeah.
I think this draft was like super solid. I don't know if you're gonna like if this is gonna be like on the same level of like the DeAndre Ayton draft or anything, but like this draft was solid.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, I'm very high on Scotty Barnes. I think that guy's gonna be legit, like you said. And he gets drafted by a team that doesn't freaking stink like a lot of the other draft picks. So
yeah,
which is nice for him.
So now we look at this Toronto and we go, huh? C or D? D or C?
No, I think C. I think, or at least that's my opinion.
I understand your opinion. It is a little bit flabbergasting. Like some people look at the Cavaliers and the Pelicans and see that they're in D with the Rockets and Pistons and the Kings. But once again, just let me clarify. Pretty much the F tier teams are the Pistons, the Rockets, Orlando, and then
and
the Thunder. And then
Yeah.
D tier is going to be Pelicans, Cleveland, and then Sacramento.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a little bit, it's confusing, but it's the tier list that we got here, folks. Toronto Raptors, yeah. And honestly, Greg, the fact that you're a San Antonio Spurs fan, it just makes sense because, just liking the Toronto Raptors and what they have going on there. And I know that there would be people who would flip San Antonio and Toronto and put them down, both of those teams down, and then bring Cleveland and New Orleans up to C tier. But different schools of thought. I am fine either way.
Yeah.
Now we have Utah, the second last team of this bunch. Greg, can you believe we've made it?
We're getting to the end here. Living in this part of the country, I am exposed to a lot of Utah Jazz because we're only a few hours away from Salt Lake.
Yeah.
So a lot of people love the Jazz around here. So, but yeah, a lot of excitement and for good reason too. They picked up Rudy Gay. Unfortunately for them, they acquired Whiteside. That's not going to be much, but Pascal, whatever. But they have all their main Conley and Don Mitchell and Gobert. Even adding like Jared Butler out of Baylor is going to be a nice pickup for them. Because dude is a menace on defense, and hopefully he can stay on the floor on offense. But I think he's going to be fine. So Jazz.
Not too much of a change of Jazz. Before we throw them in the rank, I'm going to take a look. They are 2-0. They are first in defensive points per game, and they are 20th in points per game. But they're keeping people to 93.5 points per game so far this season. Again, it's only 2 games into the season. You can't really say, wow, these guys are great. But this team really is great. And it is interesting. Basically, I think that in order for this team to win a championship, either Donovan Mitchell needs to become an MVP or miracles need to happen. So, they're an A-tier team, would you say?
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So, they are solidified. Like if they're healthy, they are going places. And they don't really have health issues. Mike Conley's up there, but otherwise, like, everybody is still kind of in their prime. And it's just, with the Utah Jazz, you always want to just kind of sit there and wait and see because they're kind of in NBA purgatory. Even worse so than they were in the Stockton and Malone era, because the Stockton and Malone era, like, they actually should have won a championship, and here they're actually like they should not win an NBA championship in today's NBA, but they have a chance to because their defense is that good.
And they also shoot like 63s a game.
Yeah, they do shoot a fuck ton of threes, and when those threes go in, it's a scary sight.
You go in.
Now we go to the Washington Wizards.
Yes.
Who cares, Greg? Can you answer that question?
Not me. That's the answer.
Bradley Beal for who, and he was my second favorite player all time. For a while, he's my second favorite player behind Damian Lillard because they were drafted together, and I was kind of like, oh, who should I become a bit bigger fan of? But like pretty much right away, it was like Damian Lillard because like he was just that good. Especially after he hit that first buzzer beater against the Rockets, it was like, okay, get out of here. Like, I don't even care about the Wizards anymore. But I straight up didn't. So, Bradley Beal stays. The Wizards, live to fight another day. But what this is and what is happening here, Greg, with the Washington Wizards is basically like I would if I was Kentavious Caldwell Pope's agent, I would put my arm around Kentavious and just point towards Washington and say,
"What do you mean?"
And say, "How does that look to you?" And Kentavious would go, "Not good."
Not good.
Or I said Kentavious, Shai. I meant Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So I put my arm around Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and I'd point towards Washington, and I would say, "How's that look to you?" And he'd probably say, "Not good." And I would say, "So you don't want to be in that situation?" He'd be like, "You know what? Probably not." And then I'd say, "We should request for a trade," which Russell Westbrook tried. He tried to tell Bradley Beal to request for a trade. He said, "Get out."
Yeah.
Get out. Get out.
Get out.
And and Bradley Beal was just like, "Yeah, but I get to score 30 points per game."
I get for the scoring title.
So, like, yeah. Wait, did he win the scoring title last year?
No, Steph won it, but Beal was like second.
Yeah. So, like, Bradley Beal is doing great things up there in Washington, except winning. So, Corey Kispert, who I know nothing about, Isaiah Todd, who I know nothing about, Raul Nato, congratulations. Now you have Raul Nato and Aaron Holiday on your team. What are you doing? I am kind of a fan of this team, though.
Do you think they're going to be good?
Now, if you were to ask me and say, "Michael, who do you think is going to have a better record this year? The Washington Wizards or the San Antonio Spurs?"
What would you say?
I would say the Washington Wizards.
I agree. Unfortunately. I think, yeah. Wizards,
And
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
It's just because this team is actually talented. And it's because of the Russell Westbrook trade. They went out and they got Kyle Kuzma, who's, I mean, like, beforehand, he was averaging like 20 points per game. Like, before, I mean, like, at one point in time, I think in Kyle Kuzma's career, he was balling. Like, actually, I mean, like, he was going nuts.
Yeah. Well, like his rookie year, he was actually good.
Like, so far this year, he's averaged 18.5 on 40% shooting. I mean, it's a very, 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 very limited thing. But, I mean, when he was with the Lakers, I mean, during the championship years or during, his role-playing years, he averaged just about 12.8. And then before that, his rookie year, he averaged 16. And then his rookie year, he averaged 16. His sophomore year, he averaged 19. And then he took a step back because of LeBron. Yeah. Which, I mean, like, all the respect to him. But he was shooting above 50% from the field. He was shooting 45% from the field, which isn't exactly fucking stunning or anything. And his three-point percentage was just about 30 that year that he threw up 18. But all I gotta say is, I mean, the sky isn't the limit for this squad, but there's a lot of guys who have big step forwards to take, like Denny Villa, like Rui Hachimura, like Thomas Bryant, like Cassius Winston even, which you'd be like, "Michael, why would you even bring his name into the conversation?" because he's not bad. He's a good player. And then Spencer Dinwiddie, let's take a look because he is not hurt at the moment, it's saying. So it's an interesting team, and just for that sake, and man, some people are going to kill us for this tier list, but we're throwing him in the C.
I think that's about right. No, I agree for sure.
And I mean, if we're looking to be nice, we could do this. We could throw Cavs and New Orleans up there too. Same thing with the Kings if we really wanted to, but I don't want to. But yeah, this is what we're looking at this season, Greg. And I mean, stream's recording, so this is done. Now we're chilling, dog. Hold on.
I like the Kings at sea, though, to be honest with you.
You like the Kings at sea?
Yeah, because they have some pieces that could make them like not good, but like not like terrible either. I don't know.
Huh. So you're saying...
I mean, they're not going to be good by any stretch, but they're not going to be a freaking dumpster fire either.
Yeah, but I mean, you could say the exact same thing with Cleveland and New Orleans.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
So maybe we should just leave the list looking more like this. Have it way more middle heavy and then have the outliers.
Your stream is a little delayed, so I gotta wait.
Oh, bro, I mean, like I'm sharing my screen with you through Discord, so you can look at it immediately.
Okay, hold on. No, but I'm watching your stream. Are you? But I don't think you're sharing your screen. Are you?
Should be. Yeah, I am.
Oh, you are. Yeah. Okay. No, I see. Okay, we're good. Okay. No, I like that. I'm a fan. I think it's good.
Yeah, I think that this is an appropriate list. If we had F and then maybe like an S plus, then we could kind of differentiate and like really nitpick some more of these like other teams. But for like what we got, this was a 3-hour stream, Greg. This is a 3-hour video I'm gonna upload to YouTube.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't plan on cutting or chopping any of it. So this was the stream with the Greg.
That's right.
Do you have anything to say as closing remarks to the people, Greg?
My closing remarks is that I'm ready to go to bed because I am so tired right now. I went and pooped for like 2 hours today. Watched the Chiefs get totally smacked, and I'm just ready to go to sleep.
All right. Well, fair enough, Greg. Fair enough. I got you. Well, I got a little bit of homework to do that I kind of put off, but nothing that I can't handle. I'll just be up for another hour or so. But
keep minded, Mike. If there's one thing that I know about you is that this cat does not stop moving forward.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, dude. Great having you on. Definitely not the last time that we're gonna do something like this. Hopefully, a little bit earlier in the day next time we do it.
Yes.
But really appreciate everybody who came by and watched the stream. Thank you very much, Greg. You were wonderful. Thanks, everybody. See you later.